What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Post Game Spread. I'm going to be your host, as always, Blake Helm. Our motto with the Post Game Spread is a journey worth remembering, and there couldn't be a more fitting guest for that to fit than PJ Finigan. This is going to be PJ Finigan Part 3. If you guys haven't watched or listened to Part 1 and 2, they're incredible. This guy has lived truly a baseball odyssey. I mean, going back through everything he's been through, he was incredibly undersized but skilled as a little guy growing up on the north end of Springfield. Went to the Little League World Series for the ABCA in Puerto Rico. Was a part of the Springfield Statesmen, which traveled the country, and they just had an incredible group of guys that went on to play pro and college baseball. Probably the most successful competitive team from this area. Moving on to high school, absolutely kind of a late bloomer, shoving at the very end. Getting a scholarship to SIU Carbondale, playing for the Salukis, starting as a freshman. Ended up being the MVC Player of the Year, Joe Carter Player of the Year as a pitcher and a shortstop. Had stints in the CICL, had a really cool experience in the Cape Cod League. Went on to play a handful of years in the Tigers organization and was a true prospect. And many thought he was headed to the show, and then his elbow kind of blew up and he had to pivot and figure out what was going to be next. And he's transitioned into coaching, and that first took him to SIU Carbondale, and then he was at SIU Edwardsville, and then he's going to be beginning his fourth year as the head skipper at Lindenwood University, and he has done some incredible things around there. They had a 30-win season this last year, doing some big things. I love this guy, friend of mine. We talk baseball all the time, and we really go a lot deeper into his coaching career now, what he's been doing there, what he's learning, how he applies all of his baseball knowledge to all these guys, and it's incredible. We hear from a couple of his players, from Sam Coonrod. This is incredible. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. This is PJ Finigan, Part 3 of Baseball Odyssey. Here we go. And now a few words from our sponsors. Today's episode is going to be brought to you by Clean Fuego. Absolutely love these guys. The number one tool in the game to help with spin rate, efficiency, all that great stuff. Head on over to cleanfuego.com. Also, a big thank you to the Kaiser family. They support us financially just as a family because they love what we're doing. So thank you to Ryan and Mandy. True baseball family. Love those guys. Thank you very much. We are proud to be backed by Salvaggio Steel. Salvaggio Safe is their motto. These guys have been in business building rails for over 60 years, and they've always been incredible about putting money into the sports community, into the athletic community in the greater Springfield, Central Illinois area. And I'm absolutely honored that they felt like I had enough, like we were doing something special enough to be invested in. So they do it all. I mean, you guys can go look at them for, doing precision craftsmanship in many categories, including structural, miscellaneous, ornamental iron. They're AISC certified. These guys are just the best in the business. We really appreciate them. This deal was also brokered by good friend John Chisholm, who works there as well. So we appreciate Salvaggio Steel, Salvaggio Safe. Thank you. We are also brought to you by Washco Strength and Speed, located at 3604 North Peoria Road, 217-899-3233. Of course, I'm talking about Jared Washco, the Springfield area firefighter, the former pitching standout at SHG and SCI. He is credentialed. He is a CPT, CSCS. Those are the highest credentials you can get in the strength and conditioning game. I think he is absolutely fantastic working with young athletes, probably the best in the area, working with baseball players. His results say it all. He's worked with high school guys, college guys, pro guys, and they keep coming back to him. They get bigger, they get faster, they get stronger, more explosive, better at their sport, less injury prone. He handles it all. He does arm care work. He does speed work. Go see Jared if you are a local athlete trying to get the most out of yourself. Invest in yourself. Go see Jared. We are also brought to you by Nate Guernsey with the Real Estate Group. Get a hold of him for all your real estate needs. You can reach him at 217-691-6853. We've mentioned his name multiple times on the podcast. He was a member of the famous Springfield Statesmen. This guy was an absolute sharpshooter with swag for Southeast back in the day. I can remember watching him play the city and really liking his flavor and the way he did things. So go see Nate Guernsey with the real estate group. Again, 217-691-6853. Love this guy. We appreciate you, Nate. We are also brought to you by Safe House Home Inspections. They can be reached at 217-350-0350 or info@safehouseil.com. And of course, I'm talking about Dave and Jim House, Dave being the Lanphier head baseball coach. I played ball with him for the Springfield Pride, played against him growing up. He's an outstanding guy. Dave and Jim his dad have over 30 years of experience between them. They offer home inspections, termite inspections, radon testing, septic inspections, water quality tests, pre-sale home inspections. And there's also $25 off for new customers. If you have any need for any of these services, Dave House with Safe House Home Inspections is who you need to go see. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. This episode is brought to you by Glisten Heating and Air. You can reach them at 217-341 or visit glistenheatingandair.com. That's GLISSON. This is owned and operated by Gibbs Gleason himself, a member of the 2000 Pleasant Plains baseball team that were state champs. That's the Dusty Bensko era, former guest. This guy's in the baseball community. He helps coach his son, who's in the local travel scene. This truly is the pros pro for HVAC in the area. I mean, this is a who's who of former pros that have used him. Let's talk about Corey Erickson, Jason Worth, Ryan Murphy, Jason Knadler, Justin Knadler, Brad Owens, Greg Morantz, Jason Washam, Eric Easley. His reviews speak for themselves. Call Glisten Heating and Air. They care about your air. We appreciate you. We are brought to you by Overtime Training Academy, located at 3604 North Peoria Road. Phone number 217-899-3233, or head on over to their Facebook page. This place is incredible. This is where the home of Washco Strength and Speed is located. They've got all kinds of incredible tech for hitting and pitching. They offer hitting lessons, pitching lessons, catching lessons for baseball and softball. You can rent the turf. They've got a huge facility there, so other sports can come in there and do their thing indoors if they need it. Go check these guys out, the premier place in Springfield to train. We are also brought to you by BOS, Bank of Springfield, and Jason Knadler. The Bank of Springfield has essentially a whole baseball team over there. I'm talking guys like Jason Knadler, Justin Knadler, Timmy Ballin Wallen, Eric Weaver, Ryan Murphy, Murph Mathiot, Frank Stefano, Greg Morantz. I trust every single one of these guys to handle my money and to steer me in the right direction financially. There are 3 locations across the greater Springfield area for your convenience. Bank boldly with BOS. We really appreciate you guys.
This is quite the upgrade from what you had, man.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you were in the early days when it was, what did I used to do? I used to send people Zoom. I would send you a Zoom, and then we would do it. But actually talk on the phone, right? Wasn't that how we did it?
Yes, through Spotify, right?
I mean, like, I put the podcast out through Spotify, but I had to do it on my own. It was essentially, oh wait, you had to download Spotify, didn't you, to do it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking through Spotify, but looking at each other through Zoom.
That is
now
correct.
I got this. I've been upgrading over the past couple of years, buddy.
Take time, man. Take time.
For sure. Well, here we are, dude. I'm gonna call this 3.5.
Sounds good.
Oh man, I already hit record, so I'm not sure what we'll edit out here or whatnot. But all right, guys, welcome back to the post game spread. I'm gonna be your host as always, Blake Helm. We're gonna call this the PJ Finigan story 3.5. It was supposed to be 3, but I'm just gonna tell this little funny story because we already did this. About a week and a half ago, PJ actually drove to Springfield, his hometown where I live, was sitting behind me in this studio that you see. And we got down for 3 hours. It was incredible. I got to the core of what the issue was. I don't know if I even texted you this, but it was my son. And not to blame it on him. He's 3.5 years old. He loves touching buttons and knobs. So I had everything all set, all my recording stuff all set for the night before. In the morning he was in here messing around, and I came and looked at stuff, and I was like, okay, nothing looks like it's messed up. But what he had done is turned gain knobs on every microphone all the way up. So it was a ticking time bomb until one of us got a little loud, and then something called clipping occurs. And then we had about an hour of audio, and then it was lost. So, dude, I cannot tell you how heartbroken I was when I figured that one out, and how
unpleasant it was for me to send you that text message of, hey man, we lost it. So, because I know how valuable your time is as a head coach. You're being pulled in all these different directions, and that you thought enough of this to come and come home, take the trip home to do this, meant a ton to me. So thank you again for giving me the first part, and now coming back for another part. I guess the positive is that we get to talk more baseball. So that's always a good thing, right?
Absolutely. Never a bad thing to talk more baseball.
Yep. So, all right, guys, we're going to be back here. This is going to be 3.5. I've got you guys can see, I've got my PJ Finigan jersey hanging up behind me here. It's got to be one of one. Does anyone else have this?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
When I saw you wearing that I was certainly, you gave me a heads up, but still, I had never seen anything like that. So let's call it one of one.
So for a lot of these guests that I've had on, I have an affinity for the 2-button Henley t-shirt jerseys. I don't like wearing like the real jerseys. They're too heavy and whatnot, but I like a good t-shirt jersey. And I've done these for a lot of guys. I've done Bensko's, I've done Finnegans, I've done Knadler's, all these guys. And so every once in a while, I'll throw on my PJ and run around town, and I get stopped every once in a while. Like, you're not PJ Finigan. And I'm like, no, I'm not, but he's my buddy. So
that's
got
awesome.
my PJ Finigan one of one thing over there. So let me just get running down here through your accolades, background interviews, and we'll get rolling on all our fun stuff here. Cool?
Yeah, all good, man.
All right, buddy. So if you guys did not tune in for part 1 and part 2, we went over PJ's career more as a player. We dabbled a little bit in his coaching, but so incredible. So let me go through his accolades. A 1996 member of the famous Dairy Queen team that went to the ABCA Little League World Series in Puerto Rico. They were inducted to the Hall of Fame not that long ago. Ton of incredible guys on that team. A member of the Springfield Statesmen, probably the greatest traveling team in Springfield history, Central Illinois. 2001 Lane Fair High School graduate, where you were 3-time city champ your senior year in baseball, basketball, and golf, playing with Andre Iguodala and Richard McBride, getting second in the city in golf. Male CSA Athlete of the Year 2001, before going on to SIU Carbondale and the MVC, earning freshman All-American honors as a shortstop. You had stints in the CICL, in the famed Cape Cod League. You won a league championship. Senior year, earning team MVP as a pitcher and a shortstop, and then being named MVC Player of the Year. Later being inducted into the Saluki Hall of Fame in 2018, MVC All-Century Team. You got drafted in the 7th round by the Tigers, where you went on to enjoy a strong but brief career before your elbow essentially blew up, and then getting into coaching. SIUC, you did some assistant coaching at SIUE. You were the interim head softball coach at SIUE for a little bit. Interesting. And then where we kind of left it off right before, this was about 2 years ago in August, was that right? You were just about to start your first year as the head coach, correct?
That is correct.
At Lindenwood, man, awesome there. So, so now we're going to dive way deeper into your coaching career and what's been going on at Lindenwood. You've really raised that program up. In part 1, we did cool background interviews from Kenny Gann, the Mitt Mender, your coach at Lanphier, Danny Mediri, former teammate, SCI Lanphier coach, J.R. Kais, former teammate, played ball at Lincoln Land, U of I, Rifles, Dusty Bensko, who you contributed on in part 3, Dusty Bensko, former teammate, Pleasant Plains legend, U of I, Twins, Joey Albsmeyer, former teammate on the Rifles, Pleasant Plains, Lincoln Land, Weber International, Matt Brewer, teammate on Dairy Queen and Carbondale, played for the Diamondbacks briefly, Jim Rupert, former SJR Sports Czar radio personality, Ken Henderson, former assistant and head coach at SIUC, and then finally your dad, Greg Finigan, an incredible athlete, incredible golfer, Springfield Sports Hall of Fame inductee. And then so in part 3, we're going to hear from a couple different guys. We're going to hear from a couple of your players, which I thought was really cool. And I couldn't have been more impressed with these guys. And it totally makes sense that you would have these type of people within your program. So Charlie Esam McCall, man, I loved this kid, guy, OVC Freshman of the Year. We were texting back and forth talking about the great word to describe him as special, not only as a player, but as a person. You can just tell he is wise beyond his years, incredibly mature. Jake Radosevich, your starting catcher, guy hits bombs, loved him. He had a great appreciation for you and the Lindenwood program. Sam Coonrod, so former big leaguer, SIU great. You coached him at SIU, 5th round pick of the Giants, 5 years in the show, 11 years in the pro career, just hung it up. That guy's a certified weight room monster. Him and I have been texting back and forth videos of ourselves going nuts. So I've met a fellow meathead in him. And then finally, we're going to have Stacy Callahan take us out, who would be the widow of Dan Callahan, your coach at SIUC, just an absolute baseball legend. How I know PJ, we really got to know each other more so through the podcast than anything else. Like, we've been friendly for years, but I grew up, watching this guy for Dairy Queen, for Statesman, wanting to know what you were doing as a shortstop, trying to emulate you. Um, and one of the coolest things about this podcast is that I feel like we've legit formed a real friendship, and we text back and forth and we talk baseball. And that's been awesome for me because, like I said, as there's a part of me that's still a 10-year-old little boy and was like, man, PJ, is this the coolest? So even though we're 40-year-old men now, it's still cool for me that we have formed this friendship that I feel like is real. And I don't think you would have come back and given me a part 3.5 if we weren't boys. So and I'm so appreciative that it was you in some ways and not just like some random guy that I just convinced to come on, because might have not been so kind about it. So thank you for rolling with the punches. PJ, what's going on, man? How you doing?
All good, man. I appreciate you taking the time again. And, the baseball family and world is really small. And,
It is.
It is truly a brotherhood. And it's amazing how small connections like this turn into something much, much more. So I'm appreciative of your time. You're killing it with this. And I know it's pretty special for a lot of us to tell our stories and get to listen to each other and all those good things.
Yeah, so awesome. And for those of you guys that are joining us for the first time, this is the post-game spread. And it really started out with, I wanted to talk to guys about when their careers were over with and like give them some time to give thanks and look back on stories and like kind of close it and get some closure on whatnot. But I've also ventured into some young guys now. So I'm getting into some college guys and some guys that are still playing and following their career as they go too. So we're kind of doing full circle now. We're not just doing guys like you that are done, but you're still very much involved, obviously, in baseball and still living. I think we called it a Baseball Odyssey in your first one. And it truly is. This guy has lived so much baseball life. He's got so many baseball stories, so salty in the best way. Cannot wait to get into this. Let's hear a little bit about what life is like for you. How was summer? Tell me a little bit about the family and what's going on. How was your summer? And then we'll get rolling into some questions here.
Yeah, I mean, summer is recruiting full bore.
Never stops, does it?
Never stops, but
Man.
it's hyper speed in the summer because you're going out and it's amazing with the portal and everything else. You're seeing guys that you're trying to bring into your team now. You're seeing guys that you want to bring in that are going to be seniors. And then you're also going and at the end of the summer going to see the kids in the next class.
Right.
So it's just a nonstop thing. And then on top of that, that's the best time to spend with family.
Right.
Got to do some really neat stuff. Watch my daughter play soccer here in St. Louis, which is a hotbed. And then make some neat trips with my son to Indianapolis. And then the famed Cooperstown trip.
Yeah.
And get to do that with my 12-year-old son and his team. And then try to make time for vacations. Went away to see some family in Washington. Right. So it's been a blur, and I'm excited for school to start to get back into the normal routine. But the summer's been crazy, but all good stuff.
Is there ever a lull in being a head coach at the Division I, or is it just always go?
It's always go. I guess you could maybe say like November, December gets a little bit slow. But I think that all coaches would tell you that if it didn't get slow during that time, it would be a lot. It would almost be too much. So we need that to kind of reset the batteries and recharge before taking on what the season brings in January, February.
And I just had Coach Skirka on from Murray State before you, and him and I have been in contact quite a bit. And I guess in my head, I was thinking, oh, the summer for a D1 coach, you guys get some time off, things get to chill a little bit. But with the portal and the turnover of rosters, he said he brought in 20 new guys after going to the College World Series. Like, isn't that crazy? It's just
that is probably the thing that's changed the most with recruiting is you have guys playing this wild game of musical chairs with the portal. And usually you might have a year where it's a group of 8 or 10. Anymore, it's 12 to 15, 18. It's a big class every year.
Yeah.
So it's nonstop and just always seems like that has your attention.
And that's gotta like totally, I imagine, shift the dynamic of a team too. And like people are fitting in, who's a leader, who's kind of like a soldier, like all these things. So that is interesting to change that up, swirl it up every year too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, the foundational pieces, your culture, you're constantly having to go back to what are your standards? How do you get guys to buy in?
Yeah.
All of that stuff, just because you have so much turnover on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah. And let me you said something during that about Turner, your boy, and I see all these pictures. I'm friends with you and your wife on social media, and I
Yeah.
see all these. He's really getting into baseball now, and I love it. And I've texted you that I think he's got the look of someone that loves baseball and wants to be there. And it is so cool watching. So we're like 40-year-old guys now, so all got kids coming up, a lot of us. So seeing the next generation of guys that we played with come up, like the other day. So I live right by Schlitt Field,
Mhm.
and I've got friends that have kids playing over there now. So the other day, John Chisholm and John Eck, John Eck,
Yes. Yeah.
texted me and they were like, "Hey, our boys are playing against each other tonight. You want to come over and watch?" And I went over there, and it was so cool watching them coach. I remember just playing with them and whatnot. And Nate Guernsey, your boy, your teammate,
Yeah.
Statesman.
Yeah.
Have you heard about his son?
Yeah. So his son's the same age as mine. So they
Okay.
play against each other. Get to see that.
Oh, you've seen that?
You,
Okay.
Jason Knadler's son is the same age as mine. So our kids, we actually have a tournament that we run together in
Really?
conjunction with our team.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
Central Illinois roots, and
Yeah.
that is really neat, obviously, for all of us. And the big part of why we want to play against each other is just a mutual respect. And we
Yeah.
know that teams are going to act the right way, play the right way. Really, really fun to be able to do that against people that
Yeah,
and know
absolutely.
they're baseball guys.
Yeah, for sure. Apparently, I guess Guernsey's kid is ambidextrous and can throw gas either way. Did you know that?
He is. I'm not sure that he pitches a whole lot, but he is a switch hitter, and
Mhm. Nate
you
said
know,
he's just starting to throw like pitch both ways, and he can throw it essentially equally as hard both ways, which is kind of crazy.
that's not surprising. Knowing
Yeah.
the kind of athlete Nate is,
Yeah. Yep.
and what the genes are in his family, things like that. He's part of that Dairy Queen team as well,
Yeah.
and
History.
going back to those roots. My son plays with Terry Parnell's son.
TP.
So yeah, we get to really
that
dive
guy.
into
Man.
coaching, and it really is a small world when it comes to the baseball stuff.
It is, and like as I've just discovered that too as I've done this podcast, and I have to reach out to different contacts and like, oh, you know this guy? I played with him, or I know this guy, or that's
Yeah.
this guy. I know, and it's so small. It's so much smaller than you think it is, and it's so connected. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Let's talk about So, what was the reception after your initial 2 episodes came out? And let me say this: your 2 episodes were exactly your first 2 were what I envisioned for this whole thing. Like I had an idea in my head of what I wanted it to be in terms of like putting clips in and having a guest that is really engaging and has great stories and wants to be there and opened up. And it was just chef's kiss the whole way through. We got some great context from your dad. He got emotional. Just amazing stuff. What was the reception? Who did you hear from after that? Stuff like that.
I've heard from so many people. Doesn't matter, like old teammates. That's probably the coolest part, to be able to rehash some of those stories with those guys. And thankfully, I've inherited that from my dad, which is the ability to recall things that have happened and tell a story. My wife would probably tell you that I do that way too much, but the reception has been great. Even people that we have become friends with down here in the Edwardsville area have
cool.
now gone back and listened to that. And
Yeah.
for them to kind of have a background into some of the baseball life that I've lived, and some of the people that I know, and just things that I've done, experiences that I've lived, it has been great. But the best part definitely is the ability to reconnect with old teammates that have listened to that, whether it be, the Hewlett family, that, they reached out, and J.R. Keyes, Dusty Bensko. So many of those old teammates, man, that certainly lived those experiences with me, and we're excited to hear some of those stories.
Absolutely. What are some of the, I know that you've told me at least that when you go on these visits for recruiting and whatnot, that sometimes you will throw on the post-game spread. Who are some guests that you've liked or listened?
I mean, do it all the time. put the Bluetooth into my car and just go, and it certainly makes those drives so much easier. Jason Knadler's story is amazing. I never knew the fact that he picked up switch hitting that late.
Nuts.
That's wild. Like,
blow
people
you
don't
away,
understand
right?
how crazy that is.
Like, imagine someone on your team. Imagine Charlie coming to you and be like, "Hey, I'm going to switch hit now."
Yeah,
You'd be like, "What?"
I can't think of like getting behind that as a coach at this point in time.
Right. It's like, but he was a junior in college.
Yeah, it's
Not even
insane.
a freshman, or like,
Yeah, insane. Both
Yeah.
Ericksons, I've listened to those. Those are cool. Ryan Naper was neat because I actually recruited him.
Right.
Same with Cam Appenzeller, to go back and listen to that, knowing that, he visited Lindenwood a long time ago.
Yeah.
Ryan O'Malley, who I have the utmost respect for, and remember that journey. And
what a story.
To know some of the story, but then have him fill in the gaps. Like, it's still such a.
Did you listen to part 3?
Awesome thing. I've listened to all of it.
With Dempster and Barrett and Rich Hill giving the context. That was fun to do.
It's crazy. Dusty's story, obviously, to be able to go back and relive some of those memories that he shared.
Yeah.
It seems like every time I pop on there, I'm scrolling through trying to figure out something, and it's always things I've never heard, which I think makes this great when people tell their own stories. Of just hearing things from their perspective, even though you might know something about their story.
Yeah. And you said something a little earlier about you have the ability to storytell like your dad. And I have to make note of this because your dad still holds the record of the longest side interview I've ever done. So your dad, Greg, and I went for 2.5 hours. Usually when I call someone for a side interview, when I splice in clips, I'm like, hey, I need 20 minutes from you. But me and Greg, we just went, and your mom was in the background, like, let that boy off the phone. Like, he needs a break. But I was like, no, keep going. It's good stuff.
Nothing about that at all that is surprising. Zero. Nothing. And that is his favorite topic to talk about, which is youth sports for all of us. My brother and sister as well. And I mean, he's got stories about games he went and watched from other people. I mean, you name it. Nobody loves sports more than he does.
That boy loves some sports. And I think when you came in last time, a week or so ago, you made it a trip to get some golf in with your dad too. And it sounded like you guys are out there competing. It's not about yucking it up and like slapping backs. It's getting after it. That's what the Finigans do, right?
Absolutely. And I don't know that I've ever beat him. If I have, I certainly don't remember it. And it was, the winning and competition aspect was on full effect. And of course I missed like a 10-footer on the last hole, and he knew exactly what the score was. And if I made it, we would have tied, but I missed. So he had to rub that in quite a bit on the way back to the cart. So
that's great. Yes. One of a kind, Greg. Let me ask you this. I just helped Ryan Aper move into Indian Hills. He just moved in there. It's my boy. What is it about Indian Hills? There's something in the water out there where there's some special baseball powers out there. Because, I mean, Corey, Casey, you, Mitch Trees, David Jacobs, Brewer. I'm sure you can think of 20 more guys that were ballers out there in Indian Hills. This is the north side of Springfield, Indian Hills. There's a baseball field there as well as a tennis court. What you got? Anything?
I think it's just the neighborhood. You could throw Fairview Park. You could throw Geedle Park in there too. Like that's kind of what you're talking about with Schlitt. That's where everybody
I grew up.
Was at, right? And I think one of the coolest things that I can ever remember with all of those places is when games got over with, there was usually people waiting to get on and take ground balls and hit and like play Indian ball and do things like that. And I think that's something that we all kind of missed with the baseball world. Yeah. And I certainly go back to that guys were always hanging around the ballpark.
Dude.
Like even if you weren't playing, you were watching someone else. Because there weren't a ton of other things to do. We may have rode our bikes up there, whatever else. It was always something great.
I echo that so deeply. I grew up, literally, I could throw a baseball when I got a little older from my house to Schlitt Field. And I mean, I was over there helping out in the concession stand, keeping score, playing catch with people, doing home run derby, Indian ball. Like I lived over there 24/7, and it ignited this love and passion for baseball in me, and I'm so appreciative that that was right there, that I had this access to feed this little obsession of mine and breathe life into it. So forever grateful growing up next to a baseball field. There's something special about that if you love it, right?
There is, and I think that Indian
Yeah.
Hills, like the only mystique that Indian Hills has for all of us, or anyone that's had a chance to play the state tournament over there,
Oh,
like that
yes.
became like the
Yes.
like venue for the
Mhm.
12U state tournament,
It did.
and a lot of people on the north end of town have fond memories of that right there, the state
Absolutely.
championship
Oh,
at
yeah.
Indian Hills,
Mhm.
the big tent and all the other things that they would bring in. I mean, that was quite the thing back in the day. And I think for all of us that have been to Indian Hills and know that little field, know that that's where it was played.
Yeah. Seriously, my favorite year in baseball was 12 years old, and we won the state tournament at that field. And
Yeah,
I'll never forget it. It was against VFW, Nick Bramlett, Bobby Nika,
yeah.
Walt Patton, some of those guys. But like, it was just there was something special about it, and I'll forever have Indian Hills as like a special part in my heart. So I
Yeah.
know a lot of other people out there feel the same way. Yeah, beautiful. And it's not even like that great of a field. I mean, it's like a dirt
No.
field. It's not like, there's no lights or turf or anything like that. It's just like a regular little league ballpark, and there's a cool tree line in the back. But other than that, it's pretty basic.
There is. I mean, that's when you know you really got one.
Yeah,
I've seen a
right.
lot of home runs. I've given up a lot of home runs into that creek that's back there, and yeah, that's when you know.
Yeah, I saw Pat Patterson, who was a man child, hit one about 300 into those trees when we were 12 years old, and I'll never forget that.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, kind of an interesting question, but you played ball, high school ball with Rich McBride and Andre Iguodala. Any
Hmm.
good stories there that you feel like are worth sharing? I know it's like not a baseball question, but I just thought it'd be interesting.
Man, there's so many. Just because that group was special, and I didn't even get to, because they're younger than me. I didn't even get to do the state run and
Right,
things
seeing when
like
they're at their
that.
peak. Right.
Yeah, I think the interesting like thing about that team is they're wildly talented, right?
Hmm.
uh, was how competitive that team was. I mean, Coach Patton used to have to kick us out of the gym after practice all the time because we'd have shooting competitions and we want to
Really?
keep playing and all this other stuff. I mean, that was an everyday thing. And I got a quick one that is I love, and I tell it all the time because I was, go back to this, and then I'm around Terry Parnell, who's a Chatham guy, and involved Chatham is that when I was a senior, that was when Chatham had just opened the new gym,
Hmm.
and we were playing there, and come out of the locker room, and it's packed to the gills, like you couldn't have fit another person in there.
Yeah.
The minute we leave the locker room, there's just overrated chants, like as loud can be. And I know that group, and I know how that group's going to respond, and we're just all kind of laughing and like, man, I know how this is going to go. Like they're going to take this personal, as am I. And like, it's going to get ugly in a hurry.
So I took that personal, like MJ.
So, and I remember this, like the tip goes up and they win the tip. How they win the tip, I don't know. Like somebody might have fallen down, whatever.
Sure. Yeah, that doesn't make
But
sense. Right.
we're on defense and something happens. One of our guys gets caught in a screen, and one of, their guy gets wide open for a three and he hits it. So it's 3-0, and the place is just bananas, right? They're up 3-0. They have this great energy and all this other stuff. And then it happens, right?
Then it happened.
I'm not sure that they got the ball past half court for like the rest of the quarter. So the buzzer goes off at the end of the first quarter. It's 32-3.
I bet those overrated champs weren't happening anymore.
And you can just tell like the air is out of the building.
Demoralized.
It's almost like these like wide-eyed, like, oh my God, like just like they're looking at us with this mystique. And it was great because it was 32-3. Then I think it was 66-16 at the half.
Oh man.
And we ended up scoring like 103 or 105. And I have like so many stories of those kind of things where
Yeah.
people start talking, and the next thing you know, like they got that look, and we all have that look. And I'm appreciative of those guys because that group with Marquise Warfield and Montez Slater and guys like that too, like the competition was like borderline psychotic, and it was fantastic to be a part of.
Yeah.
I'm sure other people hated being on the other side.
Was Nikos there playing basketball too, or was he just a
Yep.
football guy?
Yeah, Nico Scott, Tony
Yeah.
Smith, there's a lot
Some
of talent on those
ballers,
teams.
absolute legends. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, okay, cool. So for those of you guys that don't know, Rich McBride ended up playing at U of I, absolute stud. And if you don't know Andre Iguodala, I don't know what to tell you, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah. Let's moving forward. That's cool. I want to jump into so where we kind of left off your last podcast was you were just about to take over, and so wanted to know you were kind of like interim head coach, like the year in waiting, kind of before, like they knew you were going to take over. That's right.
So I was associate head coach. I was the
Associate.
pitching coach, and when I was hired, the head coach basically said, "Hey, man, he was an older gentleman,
Yeah.
had been here for 16 years, done a phenomenal job at the program, but was nearing retirement and knew this was going to be a big step and a
Yeah.
lot of work and things like that. And essentially told me, hey, I've got a year or two, and then the AD said we would like for you to then take over the program after that,
Yeah.
and that's kind of how it all went, and it was on his terms. It's about midway through that first year. He said, "Hey, I'm going to
That's it.
retire at the end of this year," and I was then given the reins to take over at the end of the year one for me at Lindenwood.
hmm So then, obviously you got to see how the program was ran and what things what were some changes that you put into place with respect to that coach when you got the reins and it was your program? Anything like jump off that we're going to make some
Yeah,
changes here?
it was. There wasn't much lead up time for any of us, especially for him. I mean, they announced we were going Division One in April. I came and joined him in June, like July.
Yeah,
So that the roster was the biggest thing. Is
yeah,
getting more guys that were recruited to play at this level. I'm really thankful that the group that I stepped into had a lot of really good young pitchers that we've kept that have had amazing careers, will be Lindenwood Hall of Famers. That was kind of the foundation of what we were trying to build. But the biggest thing was getting my vision and culture set. And
yeah,
I think the biggest thing was, you know, understanding what the hard work and some of the other things that you're going to have to do being a mid-major, and putting that in place here. And that has taken some time.
yeah.
But I think that with what we've done the last couple of years, we're starting to see the fruits of that, and hopefully things are turning and going in the correct direction.
So there are obviously discrepancies between a Division two and a Division one roster talent wise. So you probably had, am I reading this right? You probably had a mix of guys that were probably some borderline D1,
Yeah.
some guys that were more D2. That's where they belong. So how did that work in terms of like roster turnover, or maybe there are probably some guys that you probably saw that weren't probably a fit for Division one moving forward. How does that organically shake its way out, or are those conversations, or how does that go?
Yeah, those are more like end of the year conversations. And, one of the things that I told all of them throughout the whole process, that I was going to be honest in sharing where I saw them fitting in, but also
Yeah.
my vision for what the program was going to be. And, I know that those are not easy conversations,
No.
but they're kind of twofold. One, you only have one career, right? So I want to be honest about where you're at, because I want you to have a great college experience.
Yeah.
The second part is I know that with things like this, you need to get it going, and get it going quickly,
Right.
and get things moving in the correct direction, because if not, it's going to be very hard to recruit. And when that narrative becomes, hey, this is a place that can be successful, it's really, really hard to change that.
Ooh.
And I knew the quicker that we got it going, the easier it would be to then build and really bring our vision to fruition.
I love that. Culture wise, it seems like when a new coach takes over, they want to, set up how they see things culture wise. Are there any like defining themes that you think are like PJ baseball, that are Lindenwood baseball? I know you guys have a hashtag that's one roar,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Does anything jump out to you that you want to talk about there?
The hashtag of one roar is more of like the school type thing.
Okay.
And I think that's just unifying everyone together.
Okay.
And there is a great deal of pride throughout the whole place. I think we all share that. The word pride does come up quite a bit throughout, because obviously a family of Lions is a pride. That does make sense, but also being proud of the school and the program. I think with us, one of our overwhelming themes is no hierarchy. We talk about that because we're all here together. You're recruited for a reason. You're on the team for a reason, and we all value each other. And if we do that, treat each other right, and understand that you're all here to do a job, whether that's on the field or off the field,
Mm-hmm.
and play the role that you've been given, I think we all then can be successful and move the program forward and ultimately get to our goal, which is winning a championship.
OVC championship?
OVC
Yeah.
championship. That's where everything starts for us.
Right. Yeah.
If you can win the OVC championship, you give yourself a chance in the obviously in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can get there, anything can happen, especially when you see with your alma mater what they did last year.
Man, I just crazy. And we talked about this before, but yeah, I still can't believe that little old Murray State made it to the College World Series. I think it gives all mid majors some hope that, hey, man, if you got a strong roster and you catch fire, you can do some special things. There is magic and special stuff like that in baseball, right?
There is, and we had an upfront seat to that. We've played Murray the last
Yeah, you guys
3
play them all the
years.
time, don't you?
Yeah, playing him again this year,
Yeah.
and it's amazing to me. Like Coach Kirk has done a great job. You can tell his guys will run through a wall for him. They're special offensively. They do a lot of really good things on the mound. Just a really quality ball club, and I love playing against them because you know they're going to be competitive, and that's going to prepare you for what the top of our league looks like as well.
And you guys have a pretty good relationship, don't you? You guys going back to when you were both assistants, right?
Yeah, we were both assistants. When I was at Carbondale, he was at Murray, and a lot of it was, I think we have an affinity for some of the same type of players. So when you're out on the road recruiting, you see each other a lot, and there's a lot of mutual respect there based on the type of person he is, but also how hard he works at what he's doing.
For sure. Let me ask you this: how are the facilities at Lindenwood? I haven't made it down there yet. I'm planning a this spring a Murray Lindenwood game make it with my dad. But how are the facilities there?
We have top-notch facilities. It's a big
Beautiful.
reason why the move from Division II to Division I
Was
makes so
easy.
much sense. Yes.
Right.
There's not a lot of investment in the facilities. And even since I've gotten here, we've upgraded our turf.
Nice.
So brand new field turf. The bones of the place are great. We have to do some little things to continue to move it forward. But, I would say we're top 3 in the OVC already in terms of the baseball facility. And almost everybody that comes here, whether you're coming to watch a baseball game or you're coming to walk around campus, you're going to be wowed by how
That's cool.
much we've invested in all of the facilities, how well they're upkept, and just what it looks like for a fan experience, for a student experience. There's just a lot of great things here on campus.
Well, that's awesome that your facilities were so top notch moving from D2 to D1, because it can be hard to convince someone that is a D1 guy if you've got D2 facilities, if you don't have great facilities, if you don't have a place that they think is up to par. And then also, I imagine that where you're at, the St. Louis area, has got to be a pretty good place to be recruiting, kind of centrally located.
Absolutely.
You can get to a lot of people, a lot of talent down there.
Both of those things. I mean, when I came here in interviews for the job, I was kind of in shock at how nice campus was, how nice all the facilities, our clubhouse, everything else. And, I kind of asked that, and, the first response was, well, we want to be at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
Not playing catch up. We want to be ahead of everything. And you can definitely see that. And then to have a St. Louis base is huge. I mean, about 60% of our roster is from about an hour away from here.
Really?
So having that ability to do that, to recruit and keep kids in their own backyard, like Charlie Ison McCall, people like that, and then have the advantage of all of our students live on campus, and we're 10 minutes from, or all of our student athletes live on campus, and we're 10 minutes from a major airport. So you can get kids from anywhere, and the logistics of getting here and also living here are as easy as I've ever seen. So we do have some advantages when it comes from that.
That's great. What type of recruit does PJ Finigan look for, and what are ways to kind of catch your attention? What is a way to stand out to you?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is we really value the athlete. If you look up and down our roster, we have very, very good athletes. And part of that is we want to play fast. We want to play aggressive. We want to push our style onto other teams. And the other part is we really feel strongly about our ability to develop players. So with that, we're looking for the more higher ceiling athlete that we can then trend in the right direction in terms of a baseball player and kind of polishing the rough edges of that athlete. And really for us to get on our radar, you start there. And then the second part of that is we love guys with winning DNA. That's the hardest thing to quantify, but those guys that you hear from coaches all the time that, they're a grinder in the cage. They're always working hard. They're always doing extra, but then also they're the guy that's right in the middle of everything when it comes to impacting winning. They're the guy that gets the big hit, that makes the big play, that wants the ball in those tough situations. The guys that do that generally are the toughest guys, and when they get to college, have the easiest time to adapt and can deal with adversity and want the ball when it matters the most. And those are things that are hard to quantify, but certainly something we take a great deal of stock in.
Do you feel like you can see that with your eyes when you're watching a player, or do you need that information from their coach? Like, this guy's a winner. He does all these intangible things.
It's a mix of both. It's certainly harder to see nowadays, especially during summer ball when so many of the tournaments and things like that are showcased, right? There is no finish line. There is no championship. There is nothing like that. So they're playing to play. And you can see it by how hard they get after it. But a lot of times, going to see high school games or going to see certain tournaments where there is a championship, you do start to see some of that winning DNA and those characteristics that impact winning.
And now a few words from our sponsors. We are also brought to you by the Springfield Shamrocks organization, the elite travel ball organization for baseball and softball in the Springfield, Illinois area. For baseball, they have teams ranging from 8U to 16U. For softball, they have 10U to 12U. Walt Patton, a former guest, former pro, friend of mine, is a coach within the organization. They will soon be moving to Overtime Training Academy, where they will be working out of. I do believe this is the best place to send your son or daughter if they truly love baseball or softball and you want to see where it goes for them. We appreciate you, Springfield Shamrocks. We are also brought to you by Milner Dentistry, located at 755 South Grand Avenue West. They can be reached at 217-528-3384. Dr. Ty and his staff are incredible. The place is clean. They do amazing work. They can handle all your dentistry needs. Thanks again to Dr. Ty for agreeing to sponsor us here. He was a standout at Rochester, SCI, and then later had a really cool story of walking on at the U of I. Have a ton of respect for this guy. Please go support Dr. Ty and Milner Dentistry. We are also brought to you by Hammers Radon Mitigation Solutions. You can reach them at 217-670-4292, hammersradon@gmail.com, or head on over to their website, hammersradonmitigation.com. They do exactly what you need. This is everything radon that you can think of. This is Les Hammers. This is a Springfield firefighter, a former standout football player at Jacksonville, at Truman State, and then played a little pro ball, a little arena ball himself. Since opening, Hammers Radon Mitigation Solutions have become masters of their craft. Their commitment to quality mitigation, exceptional services, and incomparable customer care keep our homeowners safe. They never stop improving and will continue to expand their offerings. Get in touch with Les today. You will not be disappointed. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks, Les. We are also brought to you by the Crafted Stag, located at 3455 Freedom Drive, 217-698-6300. Your wardrobe is about to get a lot more interesting. The Crafted Stag Supply is Springfield's newest and most exciting destination for discerning gentlemen seeking quality clothing, accessories, and lifestyle goods. Nestled in the heart of Parkway Point shopping area, we offer a unique and one-of-a-kind shopping experience featuring barber services, bar refreshments, entertainment, and more. Guys, I can't tell you how excited I am to be partnering with Crafted Stag. This is Grant Hammer, of course, great family friend. Actually, my first ever organized baseball was sponsored by his dad. We were the Hammer Slammers, and I'm very close with his younger brother, Jordan. Jordan did the logo for the post-game spread. Grant is a great guy. What he's doing out there, the Crafted Stag, is unique. It is tailored for, great clothing, a great experience. It's for men. I love what he's doing. Couldn't be happier to be a part of this. Go see the Crafted Stag for all your needs that I just mentioned, barber services, bar refreshments, the greatest clothes, entertainment. I know Grant is always out there seeking better styles, looking for new things. So stay up with this guy. He's incredible. Go see the Crafted Stag. We appreciate you. We are also brought to you by Sheehan and Sheehan Lawyers, located at 1215 South 4th Street, Suite A. They can be contacted at 217-544-0701. I'm talking Pat Sr., Pat Jr., and Willie. They can be contacted for adoption needs, agricultural law, business and commercial law, estate planning, real estate planning, taxation, traffic and minor traffic offenses, personal injury, wrongful death suits. And I grew up with Willie playing baseball on the Southwest Braves. We were state champs. He played high school baseball and soccer at SHG. Pat Jr. was an accomplished baseball player at SHG, SCI, and finally the U of I. We really appreciate the Sheens here. Love this guy. Love this family. Great, great family. So go see these guys. Appreciate you.
And you and I, in part 3, our original part 3, I think we talked about you love getting guys that are up the middle guys, that are shortstops, that are center fielders, because a lot of times in high school, those are the guys that you can move to right field or left field or second or third. They're versatile. They're the best athletes typically. That's pretty accurate, you would say?
Yeah,
like
that is.
those guys?
Yeah, we tend to build a little bit more of the old school model of through the high school ranks, and a lot of our high schoolers are catchers, shortstops, center fielders, and pitchers, right? And those guys can have a bunch of different roles once they get here, but those are our foundational pieces. Those are our culture drivers. Those are the guys that we lean on, and that's been our motto. We add to it with a little bit of transfer portal guys and junior college guys, especially the bigger physical kids that we know a little bit more about, but that certainly is where we start, and goes back to our belief in how we can develop players.
Did you just say that you're more apt to be your model is more chasing high school guys and bringing them in as opposed to portal transfers? Why is that?
Yes. Same thing. Goes back to culture drivers, foundational pieces. We're going to have those guys for 3 or 4 years, and they're going to be champions with everything that we do. And I think that if you can do that and you can develop them the right way, that you have more staying power as a program. You're not recycling your roster every year or two. And, we've been fortunate to be able to hang on to a lot of those guys and build with those guys. And, I think it just goes back to, like I said, our motto of feeling really good and having a lot of belief in our ability to develop those guys.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever have, social media is huge now. Players get recruited off their social media. They're putting clips of themselves on there, rankings, all these things. Even when they take a visit, they're like blessed to have been on a visit at Lindenwood, like stuff that was not done in our day. What part of social media are you a part of? Do players reach out to you through social media? Like, hey, I want to play for Lindenwood. Does that ever happen?
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
Social media is a great way to kind of, I would almost compare it to looking at a cover of a book.
Ooh.
So when you're looking at the cover of that book, like it's not telling you everything, but it's at least getting you excited to maybe want to go read the book, right? So same thing with social media. See a highlight video of a kid or somebody sends it to me and you're like, all right, well, I want to go out and see this kid play. And or I want to make some phone calls and find out more about this kid so I then can go see them play. So social media is a great way to get your name out there and to be seen. I don't know of a ton of programs that are making decisions based off of that, but certainly, it's like browsing in Barnes and Noble. You're trying to figure out what you want to buy, what you want to read, because that's a great way to learn about new names and to kind of build a list to go see guys for sure.
Oh man, yeah, and it's so crazy because I remember like in our era, like even I remember my coach at Murray State being like, I want you guys off social media. I don't even want you on Facebook. And I remember hearing about, I think Duke baseball for a long time, they weren't even allowed to have Facebook back in the day. And just all, it's a whole different world now, isn't it?
It is. And that's how you build a brand too, right? Like the things that we put out from our accounts, the things we put out from Lindenwood baseball and Lindenwood athletics, everything else, that's helping build our brand and getting our name out there quite a bit.
For sure.
And because of that, I think our outreach has certainly grown.
I asked you this question before, and I think it was clunky how I asked it. So let me see if I can clean it up.
All right.
How do you decide who is worth going after? There's obviously, I played Division I ball too at Murray State, and we had like no money. And I remember going to like Ole Miss and being like, oh my God, like how are we both Division I schools, the facilities and whatnot. And so how do you decide who is worth going after for Lindenwood and it's not going to be a waste of time? Like, I know you said that you early on recruited Cam Appenzeller before he was kind of like this nationally ranked guy. He ended up being a Tennessee guy
Yeah.
and was supposed to go first round. So how do you decide this is someone that we can go after that I think we can get and it's not going to be a waste of time? Because I imagine you wouldn't want to invest a bunch of time in someone that you don't think you have a chance at.
Yeah, well, I think we're really systematic on what we're looking for based on what you're losing, and then also what are our strengths with the program. So you're looking positionally, but then the other thing is you're relying quite a bit on your network, right? The guys that make recommendations to you, places that you've gone and had players that have come to you and been successful and been a good culture fit and everything else. And yeah, I think that's kind of how you determine who you're going to go after,
Okay.
who you need to see, who needs to be a priority in recruiting and who's not.
Yeah.
And then for us, once we get that guy that checks all the boxes, we try to be as aggressive as possible.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is get them on a visit,
Right.
make them a good offer, and explain to them why this is the best place for them. But it really starts with being systematic about how we do it, like we talked about, right? Like our high school players are catchers, shortstops, center fielders, and pitchers. Very rarely do we deviate from that. And then when we're looking at junior college kids, transfer kids, they're filling in the gaps on the mound.
Yep.
But then also those corner guys, right? And so because of that, I think we can have a more narrow focus, and we can be a little bit more efficient with our time when it comes to that stuff.
When you get a guy, or when you do bring in a portal guy to fill a hole, will you reach out to their former head coach, or how does that work?
Typically,
Yeah.
and for us, the transfer portal is follows a couple characteristics, right? Either kids we've recruited the first time and didn't get, and build a strong relationship and
They
believe
come
in
back.
those kids, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then the second part is, and where we've been really successful, is getting kids that want to come back to the St. Louis area.
Yeah.
Guys that were from went to other programs, but are from the area, want to return home. And a big reason why we've been able to get those guys, if I'm being honest, is our players have become massive recruiters for us, right?
Yeah.
They have been around a lot of these other kids, trained with them, grew up with them.
Yeah.
And when those guys have gone away, now they're reaching out to their buddies and saying, hey, like, what do you know about this program and that program? And our players have been huge advocates for our program. And a lot of that has been the driver for those coming back.
So let me ask you this. So talk to me a little bit more about the transfer portal madness of what it is. Is that painful when a player comes to you and says, I want to leave? Like, I don't want to be here anymore. Can I'm going into the portal. Is that what's that like?
It is. And it doesn't matter really what their role is, because a lot of these guys, we spent a great deal of time getting to know, investing a lot in them. And I understand that not every situation is going to work out. There are guys that come and it's just not a fit culturally or athletically, like that. That certainly happens. But even those guys, like, it sucks to hear that. Because you want them to have a great experience. You want it to work out. You recruited them for a reason.
Yeah.
You've gotten to know them. You've gotten to know their families. Like, all of that is tough. And it really is difficult. It is emotional. And on the flip side, even when you're recruiting a lot of these guys from the portal, there's the same kind of baggage coming with them. That there are some emotions involved, and digging through why it didn't work out somewhere else and stuff like that. And, it is a weird game of musical chairs that is still ever evolving.
Yeah.
And for us, like I said, we've kind of stuck to those same principles of the, guys we're bringing in. And I know that we've done a pretty good job of it this year, of bringing in some guys that fit to our culture and want to return home. And we've lost a couple guys, and it is an emotional time for sure.
Yeah.
But I hope to continue to hold on to our guys, because that does mean something to me.
For sure. Speaking of special guys, did I say his name wrong? Charlie, I said Isam. Is it?
It's Isom.
Isom.
Yes.
Hey,
Isom.
apologies to Charlie. Isom. I got it now. Sorry, brother. So he had obviously freshman OVC player of the year, really strong year. What stops him So this is the madness of it, right?
Yeah.
If you have a freshman that comes in and balls, are you worrying like he's going to leave? Like, oh man, this guy's going to think he's SEC, he's the SEC guy now, or, some Power Five. So Charlie stayed, he
Yeah.
obviously wants to be there. He believes in you. He believes in Lindenwood. I got a clip here, but is that something that you worry about? Is someone having a good year? Like you're rooting for them to have a good year, but you're also worried that if they have too good a year, they're going to leave?
You definitely are.
Yeah.
I'd be stupid or lying if I said anything different. The thing that I,
What a weird
talk
thing.
about a great deal in the program, and especially with our staff, is I think if you treat them right, you make them better, and you win, it's going to be very hard for people to leave.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to compete financially with a lot of the bigger programs.
Sure.
And we certainly can do everything that we can to try to hold on to these guys. But I think it goes back to those three principles, right? If you treat them right, you make them better, and you win, man, the experience is really good, and it makes it hard for guys to want to leave.
For
and
sure.
the really neat thing with Charlie and Josh Newell, Cam Edwards, Jake Radosevich, like those guys have really bought into something on their own, which is they want to leave a legacy.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, you're
that
right.
is something that they talk a great deal about that has never come out of my mouth, but is something that they want to be the first to do a lot of things here at Lindenwood.
Yeah.
And I have a rooting interest in those guys anyway, but even more so because this is something that they've really spoke a lot about and encouraged their teammates to buy into. And it has never come from me at all. And I love that. And to hear the way they talk about the program and want to leave this legacy and this impact, and it is something truly neat to be a part of.
Man, perfect. We're going to roll right into our Charlie clips then, because I've got a clip that plays Chef's Kiss right off that. This is Charlie. I want to be part of something. Here we go.
So obviously you had a really strong freshman year. One of the things in, baseball is crazy now with hitting the portal. If you have if you snap off as a freshman at like a Lindenwood, I'm sure there's temptation to be like, well, can I jump to someplace maybe a little more prestigious?
Right.
What made you decide to stick with Lindenwood, stick with PJ and this culture down there?
Like I said before, really and I know this is probably a question later, but probably the culture that he's created already there, like with the people that were there before and the people that he kept from the years before. I think it made me want to be a part of something important because, they won 16 games a year before and we jumped all the way to 30.
Crazy.
So, and then he still carried some guys over from the year before.
Yeah.
So having those guys that are motivated and want to win and carrying them over and then having them help you do what they didn't do last year, I was like, okay, this is the foundation of what we're building. And then I thought with those seniors leaving and me becoming or starting to become an upperclassman, I was like, how could you not want to be a part of something like basically eventually this is going to be history. Like you want to be a part of something important. So.
Be a part of, man, I love that kid, man. What a special guy you got there.
Yes. His exit interview is something that I've talked a lot about this year. Cause that's typically when you find out our guys coming back and things like that. And, man, he came bouncing into my office for his scheduled time, and the energy that he gave off from the moment he walked in, I was like, like I'm interested to see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And, he's like, man, like I already want to start practicing for next year.
Oh, man.
And he's like, I want to be on the leadership council. Like I want to do this. I want to do that. And it was just like the best demands you've ever heard. And as a coach, I've told a lot of people this, like I'm sitting on the other side of the desk, like almost getting choked up. And like this guy, man, like, yes, like, let's do all of this. Let's do it all. Like
that's what you build a program around, a guy like that.
Yeah. And just the way he handled it and the way he spoke and everything else, like I can't be more of a fan of that. And I'm certainly excited to see what he's going to do here this year.
Yeah.
And even in his future. And it speaks volumes about how he was raised, his mom and dad, his family.
He's had a great family,
people.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome people. And it shines through big time with Charlie.
Man. So was there a small part of you that was worried he was going to come in there and be like, Coach, I got to hit that portal?
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's with almost everybody,
Yeah.
right? It's with almost everybody, and
You're like
it's
holding your breath for those interviews, like,
a little bit, yeah. Like you didn't really like you're really on guard the whole time, and
yeah.
like I said, the minute he walked in, and I could just tell by the energy that he was all in with everything that was going on, and there was excitement, and like I said, he was already talking about, man, I can't wait to practice next year, and things like that, and
Ooh, yeah.
he's been a great champion of the program, and I can't wait to see what this year brings.
Yeah, like you said, that's the type of guy that goes off, and he played in the prospect league for the
Yeah,
Thrillbillies this summer, but he goes there and sings Lindenwood praises, and maybe someone there is looking for a team, and they're like, maybe I should look into Lindenwood. That's the kind of thing, right?
that's exactly what's happened,
Yeah, it's your
and
best recruiter.
we've gotten guys, that have become friends with our kids,
Yeah,
or were friends with our kids prior to, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, like my
get it
experience was
home.
totally different. I
Yeah,
like what you guys have going. Like I have interest in this program, so.
yeah, cool. Let's play another Charlie clip here. This is going to be called "Right Time." Here we go.
Yeah, so I'd say the very first weekend, right, we went down to southeastern Louisiana and we played SLU, southeastern Louisiana, and they were a very good team. And I led off the very first game, very first college game ever. I led off against the pitcher of the year last year. And so I went up there and I was feeling interesting. Like was never nervous, but I was, obviously there's some like pregame jitters, whatever, all that stuff going on. And my first game, I went out and struck out 4 times. And I was like, what in the world? Like, this is college baseball. I'm never going to get a hit, ever. And so the next day, we had a doubleheader, and he, like, gave me some rest first game. Second game, he switched me over to shortstop. And he was just, before the game, he just took me aside, and he was just like, this is the same game that you've always played, right? And you're in this position for a reason, and there's nothing that you need to change because everything about you is the reason you're here. And so I went out there and I got my first college hit. Yeah. So, I mean, like, things like that, like I said, relating back to the player's coach, right? He's been there. He knows, like, specifically for me, I feel like being a freshman, like, he just knew, like, what I was feeling, where I was in that moment. And he just, like, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulder.
Man, I got tingles right now. So he knew exactly what to say to you in that moment. As a
Right.
freshman, he had been there himself. He knew exactly what it felt like. And that he had an inkling like, oh, this is what he needs to hear in this moment, and that kind of sets you free. That's beautiful, man.
Right? Yeah.
I'm so glad that we're talking, man. I just had a feeling that you were going to be awesome.
Okay, PJ. So I know that there is a story that you can attach to this that is so perfect. So go ahead and get into it. You went through the exact same thing, right? Like time is the flat circle repeating itself. Let's go.
Yes.
Tell me about you and Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I was at Louisiana Monroe, and
As a
I wasn't
freshman.
I was a freshman, true freshman. I wasn't even sure if I was going to play. My name was on the lineup card. I was hitting in the 8-hole and just kind of absolutely dominated.
Got blown away, right?
Yeah, I like couldn't catch up. I struck out. I fouled out to the first baseman, and I just felt overwhelmed. Not that I was nervous, I wasn't scared, nothing, but I was just like, geez, I feel like this guy's throwing 105.
Right.
I can't catch up.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, I made a play in the field that kind of got me going. Like just
settled you.
Yeah, it was a tough play, turned a double play, big moment. And then I literally snuck a ball maybe 2 feet fair down the right field line the next time up, with the bases loaded, bases clearing double, and we ended up winning the game. And I just remember like, knowing what that experience is like and being able to impart that on my guys now of like, I know what that feels like. You're getting dominated, but you're here and you've earned these opportunities. Like just relax and figure out how can we slow the game down to where you can then get it to be a manageable spot to where you can go have success again. And that was part of, sitting Charlie in the first game of a doubleheader, letting him watch, let him get, his bearings underneath him again. And then it was like, all right, like time to reassure him and let him know, like, this is going to be all right, man. Like you haven't changed. It's not like you all of a sudden got worse or something like that. Like you just got to slow it down a little bit and know that I have your back and I believe in you.
Ooh.
And I've been there, and he's went out there and did a lot that game. And you could just see like the game just started to slow down. He started to grow and obviously just took off from there.
That is so incredible. And that speaks to, obviously, you've lived this baseball odyssey, that you had a
Yeah.
feel for what he was going through, what he was thinking in his head, and that you knew your guy well enough to know exactly what to say to him in that moment. And that kind of set him free. Perfect. And we've got a clip we're going to play later with Sam Coonrod. That's more funny, but you
Yeah.
also knew what to say to him in the moment. And it wasn't what you said to Charlie. It was a different demeanor. So that goes to being personable and knowing your guys. And that is awesome, man.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that if you know who they are and what they're about,
Yeah.
it makes it really
You can
easy to
connect with them.
coach them because you
Yeah.
know what buttons to press.
Mm.
Because
Yep.
everybody's different. Like
Yeah.
what works for one doesn't for the other. And, I think a good coach knows, what makes a person and
Yeah.
what makes the player that they're coaching. And
Yeah.
they can use that to their advantage to find
Yeah.
out, how do we get this person motivated? How do we reach them?
Yeah.
Because if you don't know who your players are, you're not going to get the best out of them.
That's beautiful. Do you see shades of yourself in Charlie?
Definitely.
I do,
I
for
wish
sure.
I had his personality,
Mhm.
and his ability to fit in right away, because he was here 3 days and it felt like he had been in the
Really?
program for 2 years.
Yeah, one of those
And
guys.
yeah,
So
just has a
likable.
great
Yeah.
personality, great energy about him. Guys really rally around that,
Yeah.
and I certainly wish I could hit like that.
Yeah.
That's different, right? But there are some similarities,
Mhm.
and it certainly makes it easy for me to coach him,
For
because
sure.
I do feel like there are qualities and different things that match up between he and I.
I picked it up when I was talking to him. I was like, this guy reminds me of like a young PJ. All right, here we go. Charlie, what others don't see.
I think that he sees things that a lot of people don't see. And it's super interesting to me because I'm a talker like I am right now, and I like to think about things like that. And when I remember we were playing this one game towards the end of the year, and we picked this pitcher, he got his indicator, and it was just something that blew my mind so much. I went up my next at bat, I couldn't even fathom how he even thought of that.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna say too much about what pitcher or whatever, but I was just so mind blown about how he even began to think of how this, when he did this was this pitch, and it was spot on. It was correct every time, 100%. And I was just like, that's just so amazing, because that's what the people in the show do. They pick things like that. They have people that specifically do that.
Right.
So it's like, I just find that so crazy. Yeah.
So I got a couple comments. Unless you just want to roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's with things like that, I think that goes right back to the baseball experience, right? I have been through every single avenue of a baseball game, and I think that's a strength of mine, is being able to kind of have a slow pace about it and be able to take it all in and figure out what's going on from every vantage point. And that certainly was one that was interesting. We screwed up in the moment, and then it provided huge dividends later on.
He said a few things that I thought were cool. He talked about it being like something that only a pro would pick up. And I know you said that you essentially wanted to go into the college ranks because it's a easier lifestyle in terms of you don't have to be
Yeah.
moving all around the country and whatnot. But I've always thought of you as such a high level coach. You could easily, obviously, be in professional baseball coaching. Secondly, something you said in the first one or two was talking about. You said you still watch baseball games even though you're a coach. Like, you'll come home and turn on a baseball game, and you said watch a baseball game, you'll see something you've never seen before. And I thought that was so simple but beautiful, and it's totally is on point with this. Like, you have watched so much baseball, you see all the little subtleties and the little things that other people don't see.
Yeah, baseball is such a neat game in that you can watch a game and see something you've never
Yeah.
seen
Uh-huh.
every single time you watch a game. And
For sure.
I kind of buy into that, and will sit down and watch at all times, anytime that I can. I don't watch real TV. I just watch live sporting events. So obviously baseball season, there's a lot of that.
Yep. Love that. Let's move on to another Charlie here. This is getting recruited.
Yeah, 100%. So I played for the Gamers, which is like not a super high known around the nation type of summer ball team, but we were like a pretty good known around the nation, around our state, right? So we we were very known for like being disciplined, working hard, all that different type of stuff. So getting recruited wasn't really like it wasn't like a hassle. Like our coaches were really helpful with that, but it wasn't always like the way that PJ recruited us. It was the way PJ recruited us was super like family like. Like before you even got there, like they were calling you every week. Him and his assistants called you every week, just kind of making you already feel like family before you even got there. So it was really that really stood out when I was getting recruited because I wasn't even like they were telling me all these things that like they wanted me to be their guy and with their guys and learn from their guys, and it was like I was already a part of their family and I hadn't even committed yet. So I was like not being there and them already like putting faith in me. How's it gonna be when I get there? You know what I mean? So I feel like that was really important in my recruiting process. Like just calling every week and not even talking about baseball, just saying like, how have you been? What's up with school? That type of thing. So that was really important to me.
Love that. And that just echoes what you were talking about. He fit right in instantly and felt like he had been there forever. Like he was already a part of the family before he'd even signed on the dotted line.
Yeah, his recruiting was such an interesting thing. He was the first kid we offered in his class.
Oh, cool.
So we offered him in October, and he didn't commit until July of the next year. So it was quite a long recruiting process, and a lot of it had to do with we were more of an unknown, right? We had to prove ourselves. We had to really dive into who we were and allow him to see that to then have the trust to commit to us. And he has a very interesting background in that he's a basketball player. As a junior, he didn't have a great year offensively. A lot of people backed away from his recruiting. And I think one of the neatest parts about that was like talking with him of like, hey man, like these are some of the things you need to change if you want to be a better offensive player.
Yeah.
And he is so coachable that he went out and fixed that stuff before he even got to us. I mean,
that's
the guy
incredible.
Hit 270 or something as a junior in high school.
Right.
And I think he hit like 430 or something as a senior.
Let's go.
And just transformed his game. And I remember talking to him on the phone about a couple of things that were funny. Like one, I tried to talk him into playing basketball as a senior. So he quit so that he could focus more on baseball.
Yeah.
And his dad is a high school assistant basketball coach.
Oh, right.
And I told him, I'm like, don't do this. Like, we'll get you there, man. Like, you can do both. Like, you can figure it out. Like, keep this. Like, it's a experience you can never have again.
He was
and
insistent on it?
I think that mattered to him a little bit of like, man, like this guy is really like invested in me as a person, not so much
not just as a baseball player. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other part was like, he really did. He took to heart what we were saying about how to get better, and he did it on his own, with the help of some people that are in his corner. And because of that, when he got here, it's like, oh man, he's a year ahead of where I thought he was going to be.
Ooh,
and certainly you see that now with what he accomplished this year.
Oh, that's great. I love these kind of little details, man. That's what makes this podcast special. Let's go, Charlie. Still a player.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, he like a lot of coaches, but I feel like it's different for us. Is he brings the player aspect into it, right? It's almost like I told you, it's almost like he's still a player. He has so many stories that he can tell you, like over and over, and it's just
he's a great storyteller too.
He's a great storyteller, and it's like when you hear it from your head coach, right, who's talking to you. I know so many guys that I talk to that are like, I don't even talk to my head coach. It's like when you hear things like that from him, and it's like he was telling you his experiences. It's like, okay, well, I can relate to that. I'm playing right now, and he's telling, and it's like it wasn't that long ago, so he's right down the road from where he was. So it's like it's like a one-on-one connection.
Beautiful.
How often do these guys get PJ story time?
Oh, quite a bit. I'm sure if you're here for 4 years, you get sick of that, right? Just like my wife does at times. But I do like being able to connect with them, and I joke all the time with them. And like I said, I'm upfront and honest. Like I can't play anymore, so I can't show them anything I can do. Yeah. But I like to mix it up with them. So there are times, when we play at a certain park or something, where I've got a memory or a story that I'll like throw it out there. And the guys that have been around me enough will come up and be like, all right, man, what do you got here? What do you got about this place? Okay. Because I have lived so many experiences, and not all of them are great, right? Like I'm just as willing to share the bad ones as I am the good ones. because I do think it makes it more personal. But yeah, that's something that I'm sure get sick of at times.
Let me your wife Courtney, does she humor you, or will she let you tell a story even though she's heard it 20 times?
There's a mix of both. Yeah, she's just been around for so long. I mean, we're over 20 years now of being
Yeah.
together, and she's heard a lot of them, and certainly will like just give me a hard time when I go start talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
But I try to stay away from saying things like that around her.
Yeah.
Because I know whether it's in front of other people, but when we get back home, she's gonna bust my chops pretty good about it. She keeps me humble.
I love it. This next one is called Playing to Party. I thought this was a cool clip. It was Charlie talking about kind of their little thing. You guys, you can comment more on it, but here we go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I think on top of the family thing, when you build that as a foundation, I think it also carries even into a winning culture, right? I think that towards the end of the year last year, we started this thing where we would always talk about playing to party, right, with our friends. Like we were playing because we didn't want to end, and we wanted to keep playing with the guys because we love the people that we play with.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that family thing carries over when you like playing with the people you're with so much that it helps you want to play for the guy behind you, right, and do the next thing for the guy behind you, pass the bat, pitch for that guy, whatever it may be, right? Like when you like the people you're with,
Yeah.
that's what it entails. So
You got anything, or keep rolling here?
Yeah, man, there's a couple good things about this. One,
Yeah.
I love to celebrate winning. Winning's hard. That was one of the big things that we changed when I took over was celebrating winning. Like
Really?
we have a winning song. I want guys.
What's the song?
Well, this year it was "Kickstart My Heart,"
Oh, yeah.
which is really neat. I've got a couple good stories about that, but it was something that I wanted to celebrate winning more, and just get guys to understand that feeling and crave that feeling. Like I do think I'm not a guy that hates to lose. There's value in losing. It tells you where you need to get
Interesting.
better.
Yeah.
Right. But I love winning. Like I want to do everything in my power to win because I love that feeling. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that drives me more than that feeling of losing.
Yeah.
And so I want our guys to rally around that. And one of the things that I changed when I first took over was we had meetings in the clubhouse after a win. And after the win, as soon as we got done talking about the game, we were going to play music as loud as we possibly can. And guys were going to enjoy that and rally around it and build a little culture that way.
Yeah.
And it's gotten to the point now where we don't have to have our meetings in the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because I know when they get back to the clubhouse from the field that it is going to be loud. It is going to be a fun atmosphere.
Yeah.
And guys are going to really enjoy that and celebrate winning.
The culture of baseball has changed a lot since you and I were players. I remember it being frowned upon to celebrate. The motto was always act like you've been there, you can't do any. But now you got guys out there hitting sellies and dances on hitting doubles and whatnot. And so I asked you this last time, but I'm going to add something to it. Obviously you're okay with your players doing some celebrations. It's part of the game now, right?
Yeah,
kind of the Latin celebration feel has gotten more into mainstream, U.S. ball. You said that you wouldn't have really been a Selly guy, but let me ask you this. If you hit a double back in 2005, you're with Carbondale, big double, MVC tournament, you have to hit a celebration, a Selly at second base. What are you doing?
Man, I couldn't even tell you what that would even look like. And I'm sure that a lot of the guys that I played with would probably say the same thing. They'd probably make fun of me for doing something like that just because that's so out of my nature. Yeah, it would probably be some like Tiger Woods fist.
That's what dude. That's crazy
like
that you said that because that's what I thought it was going to be. You'd be a Tiger Woods fist pump guy.
Yeah, something like that. Like something really, really simple. Just because I'm not that much of that kind of guy. If there is such a thing, bat flip every now and again, that kind of thing. But that's it. And I kind of laugh at our guys when they do it now, and they always give me a hard time because it's my expectation that they hit doubles and home runs and things like that. One of the best things that we do that I can rally around though is, we try to play very aggressive. We like to run, we like to steal bases, but everything that we do, every time we move up a 90-foot, like if it's a dirt ball read or steal a base or something like that, the guys give a first down signal, and it has kind of gotten a life of its own. We even tried to get the St. Louis Battlehawks to sponsor it.
Cool.
All kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
And I can rally around that one.
Okay.
Because I do think that it helps promote what we're trying to do and how aggressive we're trying to be.
Speaking of being cool and like hip, I guess, I've seen some pictures of you wearing some black and white Nike Dunks, the Oreos. I got to ask you this. I don't know you as a fashion guy. Did you choose those or did Courtney?
Absolutely not. I got those for a birthday present from Courtney and the kids.
I knew it.
Courtney does 90% of dressing me, which, I give her all the credit in the world. There isn't anything that she doesn't do well. She absolutely kills everything in life. And
shout out to Courtney.
I joked about this
personal stylist
a couple of days ago as well. Somebody asked me about something that she was doing, and I was like, yeah, she's got it handled, basically. And they were like, wow, that's, how does she do all that? I'm like, I don't know, other than she kills everything. And if there is a Hall of Fame for coaches' wives, like, she's in it for sure.
Oh, Hall of Fame, first ballot. Love that.
Yes,
unanimous.
No doubt. No doubt.
I saw that picture of you wearing those, and I was like, PJ did not pick those out. I knew it. I knew it. Thank you for being honest.
And then she got me a pair of, like, the next year got me a pair of, I have some gold ones. Like, they're like Vegas gold, not like gold, but white and Vegas gold that I wear quite a bit as well.
Shout out to Courtney for keeping PJ stylish. I love it. I love seeing I am a shoe guy myself. So when I saw those, I was like, is that PJ or is that somebody else that did that to him? I love it.
Definitely Courtney. Definitely.
Okay, here we go. Let's roll on some more Charlie stuff. What stands out?
I think what's really different between him and other coaches, I think, is like his how into it he is, and how, like, and not just like coaching wise, but like it's almost like he's a player. Like, he's so like comfortable with talking to you, like during whether it be practice or BP. If you have any questions, his door is always open. I mean, you can just sit at practice, you be taking BP ground balls, and he'll come over and take ground balls with you. Like, that's just the type of guy he is. So it's like, he makes you feel really comfortable in the spot you're in, and it's like you're playing for one of your friends. So, yeah, it's great.
That's incredible. Does he still have skills? Like, can you still tell that he could pick it when he was a shortstop? And like,
100%. He'll stand at short and pick it, and he'll field every ground ball.
I mean,
yeah. You still got those hands, PJ?
That's one of the things I love to do. I love to go out and take ground balls because I miss that part of it. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's a great time. Like, go back to getting to know your guys, right? Right now we have 5 new infielders. Yeah. And I've been out there taking ground balls with them probably once or twice a week since they've been here. And I'm just out there shooting the breeze with them, trying to get to know them. Yeah. And just, kind of hanging out, finding out what they like, what they don't like, what they're in, what's their favorite football team,
getting to know them.
Just a little bit more about them so that I can impact them on a different level than just, hey, do this, do that. And
what you still got?
That is a great way for me to be able to do that.
What do you still got in that right arm?
Nothing. No, there's not much there. I will, and they already are talking about this. So one of the things I love to do is we love to compete. So the last 45 minutes of every practice when we're in full team is sometime a competition. And one of the things that I will do is I will put a portable mound right in front of the game mound. Yeah. And I will get out there and I will pitch and throw 3 pitches, fastball, slider, change, and we'll play 7, 9 innings, whatever it is. And it's me trying to get you out and getting, going out there and competing. Now I need a week off after that. I'm throwing from, 50 feet or whatever it is. And I'm not throwing it 100%. I don't have that anymore, not with all the elbow issues. Yeah. But I think it does get them to understand, kind of like Charlie said, that I'm in it, that I'm really in it with them, and that I'm going to compete even though I'm not playing just as much as they need to be.
If I give you a nice hot bat and 20 BP balls, cock shots, can you park one?
Man, at Lindenwood, because it's very much a pitcher's ballpark, maybe. If we're at a lot of other places, yes, absolutely. I did that at as probably
Yep, right.
5 years ago when I was at SIUE is
Mhm.
I was frustrated with some hitters at the time, and
Let me show you
I
how to
just
do
felt like
this.
they weren't doing what I wanted them to do as far as like hitting the ball where it's pitched, and they would like BP turned into home run derby.
Yeah.
So I went and I said, guys, it's not that hard. Like, just stop. Like, we need to have some focus on what we're doing. And I went into the clubhouse, grabbed the worst bat you could ever come up with. It was like an Adidas bat that no one used. And I, like, on my third pitch, I hit a home run off the foul or off the light pole in left center. I'm like, see, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not impressed, nor is anyone else. Let's get back to what we're supposed to be doing.
But that's pretty impressive if your coach can do that on the third swing with a crap bat, walk out there and
Yeah,
park
I
one.
just wanted to show, like, the wind was blowing out, like, all the conditions are right. I would never put myself in a place where I was truly gonna fail miserably.
Right,
So
what if you're up there taking like 50 swings trying to get one
no,
out?
no. I think I'm a little smarter than that. So
Conditions
yes,
were right. That's perfect. Okay.
yes, they were.
We've got one more Charlie here, and bless this guy for answering this question. It was clunky how I asked it. What I wanted to ask, I'll say afterwards, but here we go. This is Charlie, last clip.
Can you tell at all that he has spent time around diverse culture, that he wasn't just raised in some, white community high school? Can you tell at all, or?
I think 100%. Yeah, I think so. I went to a primarily white high school, so it's like I feel like it's kind of like contradicting a little bit. Like we can see both sides of each other, but yeah, for sure. Like he just kind of the way, like you said, he kind of walks around, just the way the way he talks with you, the jokes he'll make, like you can just kind of tell that he like you said, he's seasoned. He's been around people.
Everyone?
Yeah, he's comfortable around everyone. He can talk to you about anything, like, and that's just like the type of guy he is all around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Okay, so I was so nervous to ask this question, and I went over it in my head so many times. Like, how do I ask this without sounding like an idiot, like it's coming from a weird place?
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to highlight that, you are a diverse guy. You went to Lanphier, which is primarily a African American high school, and you are comfortable talking with all kinds of people. And I wanted to know if he, as a black man, could feel that, could see that. And when he laughed, it made me feel good. I was like, okay, okay. Question was okay. So you got anything? You want to add anything to that? Or
Yeah, it's I'm really thankful for my upbringing when it comes to that. I mean,
Yeah.
even when you're going back to like the Boys and Girls Club with Teddy Lee and Beaumont and those
Teddy
guys, and
Lee,
playing,
man,
some of those guys, like it just,
love those guys.
you have such appreciation for a lot of different people. And I think now it's served me such a great purpose now is that I am comfortable around anyone.
Yeah.
And I do value people's core and where they're from and what they're about. And I think because of my background, I can feel comfortable, Latin culture from pro baseball and
Right.
so many different places. And yes, there are some jokes and there are some other things that we laugh about. Certainly with Charlie, because the other guys give him a hard time. But it who people are means a great deal to me, and it can extend that far as well.
Awesome. And I too spent a lot of time at Boys and Girls Club. If you guys don't know, Boys and Girls Club here in Springfield, primarily African American. It's on the east side, and my parents ended up sending me out there for basketball and flag football. Forever grateful.
Yes.
Grateful, because I feel just as comfortable with a white person as with a black person. And I can remember showing up to Murray State and having teammates that had never really been around a black person before. And I think I was like, wow, really? Like never? Like you don't even. So appreciative to have those experiences, to be comfortable with everyone. We're all the same. So anyway,
Yes.
moving on. Let me ask you this. How do you convince like a freshman or a sophomore young cat on the roster who isn't playing a lot to stick around, that it's worth it, that there is a vision for him or there is a place? How does that go?
No, I think that you can talk all you want, but you got to show, why
Yeah.
they need to stick around. And a lot of that has to do with, if you're not playing, why aren't you playing? And what do we need to do to develop you, right?
Let's be honest.
Do we need to spend extra time with you? Is it a defensive thing? Is it an offensive thing? Like
Right.
what do we need to do for you to take that next step? And you can talk all you want. You can tell them how much they matter and you see a bright future and things like that. But if you're not putting in the work and explaining to them exactly why they're falling short, why they're not in the lineup, why they're not having success, and if you're not doing something about it, like they've got every right to leave. And I think that is one thing that we try to do a great deal with, is setting up extra time before and after practice to work with those guys, especially in season, because I've seen guys in my past that have made great strides throughout the season.
Yeah.
You look up at the end of the year and now they are in the mix, right?
Yeah.
Now they do have a different role. And if you're doing your job as a coach, sometimes it's outside of the practice window. And for
Yeah.
some of those guys that aren't playing, that is some of the most impactful time that you can spend with them.
That's incredible. Just that open line of communication. Because I can think back to times in my career and my own playing, and the other also guys I played with that didn't know why they weren't playing at times. And there wasn't that open communication line with your coach of like, hey, I need to see this, this, and this from you to get
Yeah.
the lineup. A lot of times you were just guessing, right? You're like, I guess I need to take more ground balls, or I don't even know. But that you have that relationship with your players, you're going to let them know there's complete transparency. You're on.
Yeah, and I think that goes back to my upbringing, right? My mom and dad are very, very honest people with
Yeah.
me. And if I needed to do something that, then if I had to get better at something or wasn't doing something right, they were gonna let me know.
I love that
Yeah.
story you told about your mom. Like you'd be doing baseball with your dad in the backyard, but when you come in, you'd be your mom would be like, "Hey, that didn't look right. You need
Yeah.
to pick this up." Man, like your mom was a little more, a little more
The
real with it.
the toughness definitely
Yeah,
comes from my
toughness.
mom, and I think that that's also why I
Shout out Mary.
gravitated to playing for Dan Callahan and Ken Henderson. Was
Yep.
those guys are very much the same way. Like, it's very black and white. It's very honest. I remember Ken Henderson getting on my case for not talking enough when I first got there, and threatened to kick me off the team if I didn't start talking. And it was funny because I was just like, hey, I was being really respectful, and I didn't think it was my place to start talking. And I very much obviously grew a lot under those two guys,
Yeah.
because it was a lot of what I was used to, and being black and white and very honest about what needed to change and what you needed to do.
Speaking of coaches that get on you, Ken Henderson was known for getting in that ass sometimes back in the day. Man, I will never forget one time we played Murray versus Carbondale, and he gave his team an ass chewing. The whole stadium stopped and
Yeah.
turned to look like, ooh, I feel sorry for those boys right now. But anyway, this next question leads right into that. So do you ever have, I don't think you're that kind of a demonstrative coach like that where you really beat down on your players, but
And now a few words from our sponsors. We are also brought to you by The Office Sports Bar and Grill, located at 1919 West Isles Avenue. This is a really special place. I've been going there since probably 20 years, since I was in college, and there's just so much cool sports memorabilia, dating back through Springfield's history. All different high schools represented, pro guys, college guys. There's some great stuff on the walls. It's a great place to get together with friends, a great environment, inviting, warm, happy, lively. Great place for great conversation, great drinks, and great food. Please go see this place. Go patronize them. We really appreciate the support. The Office Sports Bar and Grill. We are also brought to you by Cardinal Cleaning. They can be reached at cardinalcleaningonline.com and 217-679-6567. Owner-operator Adam Springer, local baseball dude, family friend, standout at Chatham Glenwood in the mid-90s, also had a stellar career at Rend Lake and Kentucky Wesleyan. Cardinal Cleaning can take care of any cleaning needs you have. Home, business, restaurant, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever you need, they can take care of you. Get a hold of Cardinal Cleaning. They'll do the rest. We are also brought to you by Sitco Chiropractic. They can be reached at 217-525 and sitcochiropractic.com. They offer chiropractic care, corrective exercises, lifestyle advice, nutritional counseling, spinal and postural screenings. They are located at 205 North Grand Avenue. Love the Sitco family. From the dad, Steven, to Kyle and Casey, I grew up with them. Their brother, Tyler, was a big-time baseball player at SHG and SCI. There's a reason they have over 70 ratings on Google, and they're all 5.0. These guys are great. I went to them a few years back for some back issues I was having. They'll fix you right up. Go see Sitco Chiropractic. We are also brought to you by GT Performance Consulting, where athletes gain new perspective, and the greater than mindset is the motto. This, of course, is the former baseball great Greg Taylor at Springfield High School, Forest Park, University of Louisville, and Yankees draftee. He can be reached at gtperformanceconsulting.com, connect at gtperformanceconsulting.com, or 314-250-4748. He offers a myriad of services, including the starting line, one-on-one, the huddle up program, and disc profiling. GT Performance Consulting is a sport and mental performance consulting practice dedicated to helping athletes reach their full potential both on and off the field. In today's world of sports, the pressure to perform is at an all-time high and has created a greater need for mental performance support for athletes. GT is here to help bring new perspective to athletes, parents, coaches, and support systems. Specializing in programs that cater to each athlete's specific needs, from stress management to confidence building techniques, GT Performance Consulting focuses on the well being of athletes so they can maximize their athletic experiences. Guys, Greg was a former guest. He really went through it in baseball with mental stuff and pressure, and it's become a full circle passion for him. Please use him. If you have young athletes, even for yourself, it's very beneficial. It's a huge part of the game these days. We really appreciate GT Performance Consulting coming on board. Thanks, Greg.
Do you ever have thoughts about like, hey, I can't be hard on this guy because he might get his feelings hurt and he might want to leave? Or is that?
I never have those thoughts.
Okay.
I'm always going to try to push what I think is the correct buttons with our guys, whether that's being hard on them or not. And if that is coming into my thoughts, then we've not recruited the right kind of player for our program. I truly believe that.
Here we go.
Like, these guys know how much we care, how much we pour into them and everything else. And if I'm getting on them, I hope that they have the realization that, man, coach cares about me, and I need to make some changes.
Yeah.
There's never been a time that I've been a coach in 16 years where I've just gotten on someone to get on someone. I don't see the value in that.
Yeah.
So if I'm getting on you, it's for a reason, and I can explain that reason right away. So I think that guys know that. And like I said, if they're getting offended by something I'm saying, I don't think we're recruiting the right player and somebody that fits here.
Man, that's incredible. Let me ask you this. It's easy to know as a player, there's so many metrics and stats and data out there that they can see video. Their coaches can tell them, you need to get better at this. You need to work on this. What metrics or what barometers do you use to know what you need to get better at as a coach? How do you see those things?
Well, I think that, data is great. In our sport now, it's everywhere. And I think that you can use it to your advantage. I think it puts a lot of numbers to things that a lot of the old school coaches could already see, and it helps keep everybody accountable. For coaches, are you seeing growth there? Are the players getting better under your watch? Do you feel like your standards and goals and everything else of the program continue to be raised year in and year out? If they're not, then what are you doing? Then why are you doing what you're doing? Because, ultimately we all want to win a championship, right? But that's a goal. What we do on a day-to-day basis is what determines winning that championship, right? And that can be, are you recruiting enough? Are you developing your guys? Are you communicating with them? Whatever it is. And we feel very strongly about the standards and goals of the program and try to live up to those every day.
Man, I am so enjoying talking baseball with you, man. I wish we could do this every day. This is I love talking baseball with you. All right, let's get into some Jake Radosevich clips here. This guy was incredible. He's your catcher, transferred in, had a great year for you. Let's go with his recruiting story to start off with here.
How he recruited you and kind of what stood out from there.
So it was my sophomore year at Mountain Dew Park in Marion, Illinois, and coming out of Lewis and Clark, me and my buddy Jackson Peril, we both ended up going to Lindenwood together for our junior year, but it was at a JUCO showcase. Teams like Lincoln Land, Wabash, Kirkwood, Lewis and Clark, they were all there. But yeah, we played a few games down there, and we knew a lot of people were going to be down there. What kind of stood out to me personally was he sent me a text right after our second game was over. Like, when I mean right after, it was 2 or 3 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, I'm PJ Finigan, head coach here. And the thing that I liked the most was he didn't really talk about, like, stats or anything like that. We did this, and that. It's more like, this is what the team's going to be. This is how we roll about things. And I loved it, man. I loved
Oh,
it. And like, because coaches in the past, they were like, oh, we went 30 and 15 this season, or, like
yeah.
whatever. But yeah, no, he went straight to the point, man. And that's what I love about it is short and compact communicator. And it was awesome from there. So.
Okay.
You got anything you want to add on to that? That's a cool story
No,
there.
he's great. I
Yes.
love connecting. I personally recruited him.
Yeah.
None of our other coaches saw him, and I just love the way he goes about his business. He
Mhm.
came very highly recommended by Jake's one of those guys, like he'll do anything and everything for his circle, right?
Yeah.
He catches a ton of pro guys in our area, and everyone raves about him as
Yeah.
a person and a player. And I love what he does on the field, but especially how he hits. Like he
Yeah.
does not get cheated. He has a ton of confidence. He gets after it. And it's a little unorthodox.
Yeah, you said
but
he was a little bit of a unique mover as a hitter, right?
yeah, big leg kick. It's really a late load, and it's not the prettiest looking thing in the world. But every time I watch it, he gets a barrel on it, and he's
Yeah.
not afraid to launch it a long way. And I crave bat speed, right?
Yeah.
Crave bat speed, and he's got a ton of it. And he checked all the boxes for me. And even the first time my hitting coach at the time saw him, was like, "Whew, I don't know about this swing." I'm like, "Man, I've seen it enough to tell you it's going to work." And
Yeah.
feel pretty good about that evaluation and how it went last year.
Absolutely. He hit 11 pumps this year. I think he had a great year, something like
Yeah,
that.
he hit 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Hit in the middle of the order for us
Yeah.
almost the entire year, and just a great culture guy too.
What'd you say? Not afraid to hit it a long way? I love
No,
that.
not afraid.
What a
Not afraid.
great
He's going to
line.
get a swing. He's going to let you know, and he takes some ugly swings, but he doesn't care, and neither do I. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
right?
that's
Hey,
fine because he's going to get his right.
I gotta find some video of this. I'm interested to see. There's got to be some out there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'll look
If
for
you
it.
go to his Twitter, I guarantee he's got some of him, some highlights of him hitting some
Okay,
home.
I'll check that out. Here we go. Jake, what stands out?
I think what stands out the most about him that the preparation for us in that aspect, he's not so much just getting us ready for a game or the season tactically, but it's also mentally. The mental side of things is kind of huge in baseball. Obviously, especially that's what I learned at the Division I level. But his presence for one, the way he just goes about things on an everyday basis is very very unique, and likes to do things in a certain way, but he gives his players a lot of freedom for the most part.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what I think is unique about him.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, you got anything or keep rolling here?
Yeah, keep rolling.
Okay, this next one is good person.
The culture that he's created is simply just to not just be a good baseball player, but to be a good person as well. So that's what one of the things that I like about him the most, honestly. He gets you ready for the next step in life and not just the next step in baseball. So he's surrounded himself and built a really good group of guys. Each year that I see, people walk through the door. Last year was my first year, but this next year coming in too, I know a few of the guys coming in, and he's brought in a few really good humans.
Do you feel like you could go to him if you had a problem that was outside of baseball?
Absolutely, man. I have before,
Okay.
and he knows it too. It's one of the things. It's just another acclimate for him. You can do that as a player, and I've done it too before, like I said, and I really love that about him. So.
Oh,
So you obviously feel a responsibility to make them not only better baseball players but better people. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. I mean, they're going through like one of the biggest growth periods of their life.
Absolutely.
And helping them find out who they are and what they're about, and prepare them for real life,
yeah.
which may come as a baseball player, but it's more than likely going to come as a husband and a dad, and
Right.
just a productive member of society. Like that's huge. And probably the most rewarding thing that doesn't get talked about enough is to see them go on and have a successful life after they leave Lindenwood or
Yeah.
wherever you are. And I very much appreciate that.
I love that. And like, it is a tremendous responsibility that, all these parents that are, I mean, they're obviously a part of this process too, and you're selling them as well, but they're putting their trust in you in ways like raise their young sons in many ways, transition from being a boy to a man, and that is just a tremendous responsibility. In ways, you are kind of like a father figure to them in many ways. Do you see that? And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. And I do take that to heart.
there's
Like
weight to that. Yeah,
I accept that responsibility, and
absolutely.
being a father myself, like there's a great deal of that weighs on me. Like
Yeah,
I want to treat them how I would treat my own kids,
yeah,
and not always, the nicest person to them, but in that moment they need it, right?
yeah,
And I think that they understand that and know that I do care deeply about them.
yeah.
So it does make it easy to share that responsibility.
Perfect. This one rolls right into this. This is PJ believed in me, and this is another one of like another story of like a little bit of struggle. You knew what to say to him, and the rest is history. Here we go.
No worries, man. Yeah, I think, man, let's see. So our first home game of the year against Illinois State was kind of a big one, not just for me, but for our team. We got a packed house on our first home opener, and
Yeah,
I ended up hitting 2 home runs in that game, and one being a grand slam. And I kind of had a rough like 8 to 9 games to start off this season, and wasn't really like playing a whole lot, but I was
yeah,
getting at bats, but I really just wasn't like doing too good. So, but he came up to me after the game and gave me a hug, and I loved it just because he just said like, hey man, see, it all works out just like we talked about. And towards the end of the season too, we were playing at Carbondale, and same thing happened. I wasn't hitting good. End up hitting a bomb at Carbondale, and he just like I said, man, gives me kind of
yeah,
love that I don't really see a whole lot from not just other coaches, but as a Division I baseball player, you're kind of in your head a little bit sometimes,
sure.
especially when you're in a slump. But he's just kind of always there, and that's one of my favorite memories. Honestly, the whole, not to be vague, but the whole
No,
season. I
sure.
mean, because it was just great, man. You turn
Yeah,
around 16 wins to 30 wins, and you have a great group of guys who are confident, and
yeah,
you're laughing and you're actually enjoying yourself, man. That's the
yeah.
that's the best part.
No, watching him turn this program around, because it seemed like it was in pretty rough shape when he first kind of got there. What he's doing now is a testament to obviously him, and then obviously the guys that he's bringing in. So congratulations to you guys on turning that around and winning some ball games. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man. It's
Yeah,
just the turnaround, the big turnaround. Obviously in Division One, you jump to Division One. There's going to be a little struggle for about year or two, maybe if you're lucky. But we got to that third, fourth year. I mean, it was money, so
yeah.
it was perfect.
So another cool intervention of you jumping in and giving some encouraging words and a guy taking off. I guess a part of me wonders, like, if you're not that coach and you don't have these moments with these guys, what do their seasons look like? It's obviously something you can't quantify or know, but it's interesting to think about. Obviously, these guys believe in you and trust you, and it's pretty special to
Yeah,
hear these.
I think it just, like I said earlier, it goes back to knowing your personnel.
Yeah,
Like nobody cares more than that guy. Like he wears his heart on his sleeve.
yeah,
Yes, there are times you got to light a fire, but he was trying so hard at the start of the season that it was like, hey, just calm down, man. It's still the same game. Like, just go play.
yeah.
Stop worrying about trying to impress me and everything else. Just go play. Like you're fine.
Oh
And
man,
man, did he come on like a rocket after that. And obviously it's a big reason why we did what we did last year.
yeah. He's going to be a senior this year,
Gonna be a senior this year. Yes.
and is he bat lefty or righty?
Bats right-handed. Yep.
Okay. I mean, could you see him playing a little bit after this? Some indie ball or some pro ball, maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
If you
He
catch it,
has
you
all
can hit
the
some bombs like that.
That's right. He has all the tools. He would have to throw a little bit better than what he does right now. But he's the type of guy like he's going to be great at no matter what he does
Okay.
because he cares. It's just such a different level.
Okay.
And that is something you can't quantify. You can't replace. You can't fake.
Yeah.
So he's going to be great at no matter what he does.
Okay. Love that. Last one. This is respected.
Would you say he's pretty respected by the players? Obviously, he had a pro career, 7th round pick, MVC player of the year, all this stuff. Does that resonate with you guys?
Absolutely, man, 100%. I think just because of his background in the game, he's been in it for so long.
Yeah.
The respect level from the players to him is, very, very high just because of his baseball knowledge, and two, like I said earlier, the way he just goes about things.
Hmm. I love that. Would you consider him a player's coach?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I think, just because he's so respectful towards
Yeah.
the players are going to give him the same respect back.
Yeah.
And he's also going to let you know whenever, like you did something really good. Okay. He's going to let the whole team know. And,
Okay.
when you did, something kind of messed up here and there, he's going to let you know personally though.
Hmm. Ooh.
He's not gonna just say like in front of the whole team like Rado 0 for 10 on the weekend,
Right.
let's gear it up. So that's what I like about it.
You got anything, buddy? That was a cool clip.
Yeah, and I think your playing background certainly gives you some backing.
Sure.
Those guys want to listen. They want to be coached by someone who's been there and done that.
Yeah.
And then that's where it stops, though. Like it's what you can do for them and how
Mhm.
you treat them that are ultimately gonna to earn their respect. And that is something that I want to have their respect.
Yeah.
I think if you get wrapped up on how they feel about you, you're going to struggle as a coach.
Ooh.
But if they respect you and know that you're going to make them better and treat them right, I think that's a sweet spot in finding what a way to be successful as a coach.
I like that. How are we doing? You need a bathroom break or anything?
I'm good, man.
Doing good. Keep rolling.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Kind of a three-part question here because you were this high-level pitcher, you were a high-level shortstop, and you were a high-level hitter. How do you delegate these duties to your coaches, and to what degree are you involved in each of these aspects of the game?
I think that the best way that I've found is I have a pitching coach and a hitting coach that they have full autonomy to do what they want to do with
Okay.
those guys.
Hmm.
And what I'm able to do on a day-to-day basis is then float around and help out wherever I need to.
Hmm.
And I think because of that, it allows me to interact with the entire team and really try to make them better and fill in the gaps that the assistants can.
Yeah.
And then, help drive the culture and the way we want to play, all of those things from a head coach's standpoint.
Hmm.
I do personally coach the infielders, so that is my baby and
Yeah.
the thing that I oversee and am in charge of.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm helping out wherever is needed throughout the day, and I think that that's how I can make my biggest impact on the team. Is just being able to assist in every part of the game and really have my assistant coaches back when it comes to that.
Okay. I like that. You're in the St. Louis area. Teacher Man's down there. I know.
Mhm.
I think you said a couple of your guys are disciples of his. Yeah.
They are.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, all this swing stuff was not around during our day, not anything close to it. There's so many hitting coaches out there. There's so many ways to teach it. Do you have any thoughts on all the new school stuff? And secondly, do you think you would have done anything different hitting wise if you had been privy to some of this information?
Well, I think that there's more voices now than there ever has been,
Yeah.
right? Everyone has a guy before they get to you, everything else. And I truly believe that there's value in every single one of them. It's figuring out what works best for the player. And, I think some of the things that Teacher Man talks about are great, right?
Yeah, I
And
agree.
certainly try to help aid his development with our own guys that have been hitting with him forever, right?
Yeah.
There is not one way to just hit, right?
Yeah.
It's can we get to the barrel to the ball as consistent as possible and hit it as hard as we can, right? Let's
Mhm.
keep it that simple. And so we spend a great deal of time getting to know our guys and how they hit and the things that have made them successful up until this point,
Yeah.
and then try to build off that foundation that they already have.
Okay.
As far as me as a player, one of the biggest things that I probably would have done from the get go is ask more questions about what was being taught of me hitting
Yeah.
so I can understand it deeper. Because I think once I finally did understand it, I really took off, especially at the college level.
Hmm.
A lot of what I did prior to getting to college was just be an athlete. with some simple cues. And then once I got to college, I struggled because I just couldn't make the adjustment and the kind of the adaptation to Division I baseball.
Right.
And it wasn't until I started really asking questions and finding a deeper understanding did I really get it. And then it took off for me.
Interesting. Okay. That makes sense to me. Let's get into some Sam Coonrod stuff here before we move on. Had a great time chatting with that guy, big leaguer. Just kind of, I think he just wrapped up his playing career. Kept tearing his lat. Couldn't quite get healthy anymore. But there's some awesome stories with this guy. So let's go. Let's see. Where are we gonna go here? Sam Coonrod. Let's go. Let's start with all baseball. Come on.
Well, I mean, the first time I met him, it's just always been baseball, baseball, baseball. So,
yeah,
from that standpoint, you know, he's taught me so much about pitching, about how to go about the game, how to prepare, things like that. And then off the field more was after I left college, going out to eat, just talking, stuff like that. You know, I mean, I'd say that most of what we talk about is baseball related, but we always ask how the family's doing, stuff like that. But most of it is baseball related.
All right. Here's the one I wanted to get to. I'm going to make you tell the story. So,
okay.
You ready to do this? I'll play the short clip. I know this is a great story, so I'm excited already, but here's the clip and then we'll get into it here.
Well, you know, I honestly, he has I'm going to let him tell it. Are you going to talk to him again?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he may or may not want to put this in there, but the story of whenever he came to watch me, he would have been a brand new pitching coach at this time. I believe it was his first year. It's a pretty darn good story from his point of view. He tells it all the time. I don't know if he wants to put that in or not, but I'll let him decide.
Okay.
Let's go, PJ.
So the first time I ever saw him pitch, you know, was encouraged to go see him because he's starting to get a lot of draft interest, right?
Yeah.
And I had never seen him pitch before. He was committed to us. Dan Callahan actually got him committed. And so then it turned into, hey, man, this guy's having a special year. You need to go up, spend some time with him. And just getting to know Sam, like he wasn't ready. He's very raw from a small town, Carrollton, Illinois.
Yep.
And so I got the pleasure of going up to Carrollton to spend some time with he and his family, get a chance to see him pitch and kind of evaluate him to help him through the draft process because I had been through it myself and had a lot of background and, you know, get there about 45 minutes early and meet coach, meet mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, take in the whole setting because it's Carrollton versus Calhoun, which is a huge rivalry, you know, bunch of people there. And yeah, I was kind of waiting around and I like to be there early. I want to see how a guy operates prior to the whole 9 yards. And I never see anything. So then they trot out to take infield, outfield. And sure enough, Sam goes straight out to the game mound. Starts chucking on the game mound. Probably throws 8 or so pitches. And then the head coach comes by, Coach Pullman, and taps him on the shoulder and says, hey, we're going to make throws to the plate, finish up. And Sam does this, you know, whirling dervish, nuke-a-loosh thing and throws one halfway up the backstop and walks off. And
was it on purpose, you think?
What's that?
Was it on purpose, you think?
Yes. I later found out that it was, yes. But, you know, the whole time I'm seeing this and I'm texting Coach Henderson, like, this is the guy? Like, oh my God. Like, man, I don't know. You know, it is a special arm, but it's all over the place. The mechanics are just bizarre. It's an athlete, but man, it's really, really, really raw.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know, like maybe 10 warm-ups, maybe threw a couple strikes, threw one halfway up the backstop. And I just kept going back to, this is the guy. Like, this is the guy we're trying to keep out of the draft. We're trying to get to campus, you know, whatever else. And, you know, game starts, they're at home. So he's throwing the top of the first. And the very first pitch is absolutely painted on the outside corner. And at that time, there were about 5 pro scouts there. And one of them turns, looks at me, shows me 91 on the radar gun. And I just started laughing. I'm like, well, we got something here, don't we? And, you know, come to find out after the fact that he had played catch like an an hour before the game started. I never saw that. I asked him why he didn't get loose in the bullpen, and he's like, well, you only use that for practice. So I'm like, oh man, do we have some things to work on? And then,
Man,
come to find out, he threw the last pitch off the backstop because he wanted Calhoun to think that he was going to be wild that night,
sure.
and they would take a bunch of pitches. And they did, and he threw a 5-inning complete game. I think they won 10-0, and he gave up maybe a 1 hit and a walk, but it was just absolutely dominating. And I knew I had something special, but it wasn't until you get to work with someone and get to find out who they are to really figure out what he was going to be all about.
I mean, that sounds about as raw of a talent as you can get in terms of like he didn't really understand like what arm maintenance was or bullpens or all these things, right? He could just throw the shit out of a baseball.
Yes. And I used to have this video that I then showed guys after the fact. So I used to keep a catalog of videos of all of my guys, right? And could see them as freshmen and as seniors and juniors and whatever else and see how far they would come. And one of our first pitcher meetings, I used to show a video of him as a freshman and say, this is Sam Coonrod, the same guy that's a 5th rounder, at that time on the cusp of being in the big leagues, throwing 100 miles an hour, like all the things. This is what he looked like as a freshman.
Yeah.
So when you like get frustrated or you don't understand something or, you're down on yourself, whatever it may be, like realize this is where he came from.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys are further ahead of where he was at.
Right. There's a chance.
So it's about putting in the work and getting better and on a day-to-day basis doing that then turned him into what he is now. So,
great example.
Not everybody is that athletic and gifted, but that's not what got him where he got to. It was his work ethic and his toughness. And to show guys that video, you could see them like their jaws are on the floor.
Right.
Like this is the guy, and he is kudos to him for how hard he worked.
And
man.
you've said essentially you've never really known anyone that's worked harder than Sam Coonrod. Like he's up there, right?
Never. And you're talking about if we're doing pitching drills, if we're talking about arm care, if we're talking about weight room, like the guy made himself what he was. And I told Scout Snap prior to the draft that this guy's just scratching the surface of who he's going to be.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that he was going to pitch in the major leagues. It was just about how long he was going to pitch.
Interesting. Oh, that's so cool. He's got some great words for you too here. Let's go. Next clip, the foundation. Here we go.
Yeah, I would say that it's basically he would put you in your position to have the most success you could, and then it was his competitiveness and pushing that on you.
Yeah.
For you to go forth and be the same way. Competitiveness for sure.
Okay. I love that. Tell me, what did he mean to the development of your career? Like, how much credit do you give him?
I mean, he's the one that started it. I never had a pitching coach until him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he got the ball rolling. Basically, the foundation of it is him. And then after that, it's just you make small adjustments here and there in professional baseball, but he is the foundation of my pitching for sure.
Cool to get some credit like that. You got anything, or just keep rolling with some clips here?
Yeah, it's fun to hear that, but obviously to have someone like that to work with is special. I've got a funny thing about that is his 2nd or 3rd year in pro ball, may have been longer than that. He sent me a video like losing his mind. He was showing me video of him pitching and his velocity was way down. And he was like, what's going on? Can I come throw with you? Can I do these things? And it was so funny because I was like, hey man, like there are a couple little small things, but you're fine. Like I promise you. And he came and threw with me and just, I think the reassurance and everything else, and his velocity was up like 5 miles an hour the day he threw with me. And I was like, hey man, like, it had nothing to do with me. It's more of like, you're just getting back into it and things like that. But for somebody like that at that time was in the big leagues and things like that, to come back and want to throw with me and value my opinion. Like I value him and what he is and what he's all about.
And you guys have grown into a pretty strong friendship, right?
Yes.
You guys still keep in touch
he threw with us when he was making his comeback here at Lindenwood.
Yeah, some of those
He
guys
threw
talked
against
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, live hitters, and love for him to be around our guys because
Sure.
of just what he's all about. Like
Absolutely.
they can see that they're capable of doing the same thing, and how
Yeah.
he goes about his business
Oh,
is just a different level.
having them see his process is priceless. Watching, I remember when I came up, I got to tag along with the Canadlers, and they were so
Yeah.
pivotal in knowing what a professional process was, work ethic, what it takes. So seeing that is special. Let's move on to patience here.
I would say for me personally, I don't know about other people, but for me personally, I would say it's because he was so patient with me.
Ooh.
Because it was pretty obvious that I had a good arm,
Yeah.
but didn't really know how to use it, was extremely raw, and he was very patient with me, and he knew that I wanted to do well, so he went about it in a way that was very patient with me. So I would say that was huge. You got to know when to be patient, when to not be patient. A few times he was impatient with me, and I needed that too. So, I mean, I think that patience stood out very well for him.
Okay.
That fits. You got anything?
Yeah, it's easy to be patient with a guy like that, right? Who's uber talented and works his butt off. So there's
Coachable too.
Yeah, extremely.
Wanted to learn.
Extremely.
Yep.
Yeah, and if he didn't understand something, he'd ask a million questions until
Okay.
he understood it. And it's just a different level of work ethic and coachability.
Got two more clips. This one's impressive, and then the last one's a funny one. Here we go.
Yeah, he obviously has a special gift. He's blessed to be able to do it both ways.
Yeah.
So he could play so well and pitch so well. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not common. I mean, you have a lot of guys that'll play well in high school and then they'll pitch in college, or the other way around. But to be able to do both like that, that's impressive.
Okay, and then the last one, what's coming. And it makes me laugh because we've talked about how you know how to connect with these players. You know how to talk to Charlie when he needed a little pep talk. You knew how to talk to Jake when he was scuffling a little bit. And this is how you talk to Sam Coonrod.
Yep.
This one's called Drop Your Arm Again. Here we go. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have one that always comes to mind that I always bring up to him, but I don't know if you want me to say it or not, if that makes sense. It's like he was getting on my case one time.
Let me just say this. I played pro ball too. I have a deep respect for the locker room. I would never put something out that would embarrass him, and if it was at all questionable, he has the last say on what comes out. So even if we play it, and if he's like, I don't want to put that out, I will cut it 100%.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I just want to say that.
Yeah, okay. So if he's going to be able, he can decide if he'll want it or not. But
Yeah.
One of the most, so I mean, I have a lot of memories with him, but the ones where, you're kind of struggling, those are the ones that you always remember the most because you come out of that and things get better. But this is a memory I have of him. One of my favorite memories of him is we're playing in Illinois State. I'm a freshman, and I'm starting on, I think, Sundays. So I'm a freshman starting on Sundays, and I'm pitching, and I'm not doing well. Command isn't there, just kind of all over the place. And he comes out to the mound in the second inning, and he says, a very quick mound visit. He comes out, gets right up close to my face and says, if you drop your arm slot one more time, I'm going to come out here and kick your ass in front of everyone. And he walked off the mound. So I always remember that one because he said what he thought, and it needed to be said probably.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh, man.
So great story. Love that he shared that. I'm going to be honest with you, PJ, as North End tough as you are, I don't know how well you would have done against Sammy if you guys had to square up. That dude's squatting like 600 pounds and he's country strong. What you got?
Yeah, it wouldn't probably not have gone well. But the thing that he knows and I know is I would have not made it easy and would have given it help. But yeah, I think that just goes back to knowing your people and your personnel and things like that. And, had I gone out there and like patted him on his butt and told him some encouraging words, it probably wouldn't have changed, right? Nothing would have happened, but I knew who I was dealing with and how to get the best out of him. if I remember right, that it went much, much better after the fact.
Yeah.
And, that's kudos to who he is again.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously you were saying it in like a funny way to get his attention. You knew just
Yeah.
what to say to Sam Coonrod. Like you wouldn't say that to Charlie, or maybe you would eventually, but I don't know. But that was what Sam needed to hear in that moment.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all about the person and what he needed to hear.
Yeah.
And I knew that would fire him up, but also would get his attention to be like, okay, like this needs to change like right now.
Yeah.
And that was the intention of it, I am sure.
Awesome. Shout out to Jake Coonrod there. That was going to be, I think that's, wait, no, we've, never mind. I think we've been through our, yep, we've been through our Sam stuff here. Let me get into some more coaching stuff here. Are you still good?
Yeah, all good, man.
Yeah, I'm sure people are texting you and calling you all day. They're like,
there's a few things, but I told them I was going to be out, so they're taking care of the field and doing some things. I got nothing till this afternoon.
So appreciate you giving me this time. I know that fall is in full swing now, and you got stuff to do, so it means a lot to me that you're sitting here with me, brother. Thank you.
All good, man.
Cool. Let's keep rolling. Being a D1 coach, I'm getting a much clearer idea of how much of a time vampire it is all year round, never stops. How do you find, how do you come to peace with that, or being present when you're with your family, with your friends? Like, how do you shut that off? Does that make
really
sense?
try to get away from the phone as much as possible, because that's where you're never truly away from it. Try to get away. Really fortunate that, like I said earlier, that I have a wife who's very understanding, has been around for a long time.
MVP.
That's it. I try to be as present as possible with the kids, and thankfully they're in a lot of things, so it gives me some opportunity to get away and do some stuff outside of baseball.
Yeah.
And then just trying to step away, right? Get away, try to play golf, try to hang out with my buddies, take my wife to dinner. I absolutely love doing that because she's one of my favorite people to hang out with. So it makes it super easy to then get away and, talk about the kids and do other things. So, all of those avenues certainly allow me to then lock in on baseball and my job when it's needed.
Love that. Kind of the flip side of the Charlie question I asked you, where I asked you, if he's doing so well, what keeps him from staying? You're obviously in linear progression doing well. Like was it a 13 win season your first year? Was it around that? It was
13 wins my first year when I was assistant, 16 the next year, and now we're at 30. And
strides. So
I'm really excited about the group that we have now. Yeah. I don't want to put the cart before the horse because we haven't even started full practice yet. Right. But this is the most talented and deepest group we've ever had. And they feel that and they see that. So that's a very powerful thing, in that their preparation is exactly where it needs to be right now.
I love that. My question to you is, same thing with Charlie. Like, if you keep being more and more successful, let's say you win an OVC tournament, something like that, is it possible that other Division I schools come sniffing around, come looking for another head coach? Is that something that happens? Do people get poached?
Certainly possible. That is something that could happen. I think the biggest thing for me is a couple contributing factors. One, my family's very happy here, and that means a lot to me, way more so than being financially motivated to move up on the ladder, right?
Yeah.
I'm very motivated to win, and I have every opportunity to do that here. And that's what's going to keep me here, is the ability to win at Lindenwood.
Yeah.
The other thing is the people here have treated me great. Jason Coomer, Jameson Adams, Katie Zing, Tom Wagner, the administration here, President Porter, like everyone here has the same thoughts in mind and moving this place forward.
Yeah.
It's just a great place to be. And with that, like, it would take something very special for me to move from here. Just because of all those factors. And I think that mid-major baseball is kind of the sweet spot. You can have a great, work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I think that when you get a little bit higher, you get consumed by the job. And I really like being very involved in my kids' lives. And I want to keep it that way.
Ooh, the mid-major is a sweet spot. That is an interesting thought there. I love that. Yeah. Let me ask you this then. when you go all in on a recruit, spend time with them, spend time with their family, the calls, all this stuff, how painful is it if they don't commit to you? And then how do you let that go?
It's tough because you spend a great deal of time. You're
Yeah.
very invested in who they are, what they're about, and where you see them in the program, right? But it is difficult, but you have to move on because if you're recruiting someone, you clearly have a spot that you need to fill,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So you need to go and figure out what the move is, where we're going from here. And it's hard to get caught or not to get caught up in that roller coaster of emotions that comes with recruiting. But I think that if you continue to focus on the correct things, it makes it easier to deal with. No, because we hear that a lot. And it really is how we move on from that truly matters.
Okay, that makes sense to me. As perfect as the joke, obviously, as perfect as I think PJ Finigan is, I'm sure you've made mistakes as a coach. Have you ever apologized to your team? I can remember thinking back to a coach apologizing to us about something he didn't like he said or did, and I thought that was so powerful because it, made them a real person and made them humble in a way that they weren't just some czar that were over us. Have you ever apologized to your team?
Absolutely. I do it all the time. And
Yeah.
I think that that's the human element of it. Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm going to or make a mistake, and I know they're going to make mistakes, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to mess up. It's how you deal with it.
Yep.
And I think that if you don't apologize or you don't bring it to light, then you're allowing yourself to have different standards than everybody else of the program.
Love that. So you obviously played on a ton of teams. You know that there's always a guy on a team that does an impression of the coach. Do you think anyone on your roster, do you have an idea of who it is? Or do you think are there any PJ impressions out there?
We have a lot of colorful characters on our team, so I'm sure that there are quite a few of them. Aaron Youngers is a left-handed pitcher for us. If he or Josh Newell or Michael Walsh do not have an impression, I'd be absolutely shocked because those guys have an impression of everyone.
Of course, it's a lefty pitcher. Yep.
Yes, they're all pitchers, but
right.
Yeah, pitchers have so much downtime that they tend to talk about and do some very interesting things. But I'm sure that there is an impression somewhere.
And now a few words from our sponsors. We are also brought to you by Body Symmetry, located at 2201 West White Oaks Drive, bodysymmetry.com. More specifically, Chad Marshik, the owner, head trainer. This guy is just amazing on so many levels. He is capable of training anyone from a child to a pro athlete to just your normal everyday person to the elderly. And not only is he a trainer, but he is also adept with, physical therapy, nutrition. Everything is going to be customized to you and what you need. There's a movement analysis when you first come in to address any deficiencies you have. It's all customized. Chad is the most positive, happy guy I've ever been around. Body Symmetry will get you right. I would put my faith in Chad and his trainers any day. So go to bodysymmetry.com, get set up. Chad, we appreciate you. Thank you. We are also brought to you by BSN Sports, specifically Adam Anderson, who grew up playing ball with Blaine Cravens and Walt Patton, former guests here, and played football at Illinois College. BSN Sports, the nation's leading supplier of sporting goods, uniforms, and apparel. They provide game-changing solutions to their customers and work to make life easier for coaches. They have over 13 sales pros in the central Illinois area. Reach out to Adam Anderson at adam.anderson@bsnsports.com. They'll take care of you. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks, BSN. We are also brought to you by Grab a Java. They have 3 locations located at 1702 South 6th Street, 300 Chatham Road, and 3115 Headley Road, with hours Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 6:30 to 6 p.m., and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. This is my favorite Springfield coffee spot. This is Bill Legge, a former neighbor of mine. It's been really cool watching Grab a Java grow. I think very highly of this man. He's a family man. He takes care of his mother. He's done really good things with Grab a Java. They also have baked goods and some of the best coffee around. Go see Grab a Java. We really appreciate your support. Let me ask you this. You obviously were both. When you look back, do you think of yourself more as a pitcher or as a position player?
Definitely more of a position player. I feel like my head is more there.
Yeah.
I sometimes will struggle with the thoughts of what pitchers go through.
Yeah.
But I tell them all the time, I feel like I can reach them and talk to them because I have been through everything when it
Yeah.
comes to baseball. So I've been really good. I've been really bad. Like I've done it all.
Yeah.
So it does make it easier for me to put myself in
Yeah.
their headspace.
And if I recall, you did not like the part of pitching where you had to sit. Like you wanted to be out there playing. Like you in your head were still a position player even when you were a pitcher, right? So you liked
Yeah.
relieving to get into pitch more, be out there.
I absolutely hated being a starter
Yeah.
the few times I did it in pro ball because I wanted to show up at the ballpark with the ability to play every day.
Yeah.
I love that part of it. I wanted to play. I wanted to impact winning somehow, some way.
Yeah.
And as a starter, you do that every 5 days, and those 4 days in between were miserable for me. And
Drive you
I
nuts.
absolutely hated being a starter.
I could see that. Let's do a little bit of Dan Callahan stuff here. You've obviously had a bunch of coaching mentors throughout the years. What are some main things that you took away from Dan Callahan that you still use today or still a part of your coaching?
Well, I think
style?
the biggest one is how he treated people. Everyone matters, right? He cared deeply about the person. That in his ability to communicate with everyone and really make an impact with them. I will never, ever, ever get to that level. But if I get anywhere close, I'm doing something right. His ability to impact people was unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I think that those are the two biggest things that I could ever take away from playing for him. And I just loved the honesty
Yeah.
and how organized everything was because you knew when you showed up exactly what you were doing that day
Mhm.
and how it was going to go. And you could pour everything into that. There were no secrets. There was no hidden agenda. There was none of that.
Yeah.
And just love the person just as much as the coach.
Dan Callahan, what an absolute legend. What's been the most fun year in coaching for you so far?
Man, that's a great question. The recency bias of last year for sure. Just to see my vision and our vision of what the program could be start to take some of that shape.
Yeah.
You win 30 games, you qualify for the conference tournament, you get into the semifinals and make a good run. And you just see guys taking a step forward and the players that we all thought they were going to be. So I would say that, I've had a couple really special years, like 2012 was special for me. Year 2 is as a coach. I inherited a team that really was trying to figure out what it was going to be doing, coming off a year of losing Dan Callahan, just not really sure how it was going to go. And we end up playing for the conference championship. We end up losing to Creighton in the MVC championship, and just a lot of special pitchers on that team.
Yeah.
Sam Coonrod being a freshman that year.
Yeah.
There was just a lot of guys, and I think probably, looking back and just thinking right now, those two, and then probably, as weird as this is going to sound, 2009. So right before I started coaching in college, I coached a summer travel team.
At Chicago, right?
Yeah, that was 15 years old, and it was such a merry band of misfit kids. And man, I grow to love those guys so much. And we essentially just like brought together a bunch of kids. And the first tournament we ever played, we won.
Mm-hmm.
And then you fast forward, 6 weeks later, we won the Caba Midwest Regional.
Oh, wow.
And we got the automatic bid to the World Series, and we ended up finishing the top 8 of the World Series. And when I say merry band of misfit kids, there wasn't a ton of talent, but these dudes were so tough and so much fun, and they grinded. And man, we just did so many cool things that it was at that moment where you're like, man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be coaching because I took this group of kids. We had so much fun. We did so many special things that year, and that then propelled me the next year. I started coaching in college.
That's awesome, man. Did you take that job as something to do, or was it like you already knew coaching was going to be your path, or was it discovered because of doing this?
So I started coaching a few of those guys the year before, and enjoyed it. Coached a few of them in private lessons, and was really just doing it as something to stay in the game.
Yeah.
while I figured out exactly what I wanted to be doing full time.
Yeah.
And then, I was working full time at a school. I took on this bigger role where I then had this team, and then it just took off from there.
Yeah.
And man, those are the 3 years that I think were really special, just because
Yeah.
kind of where we were at and growing out of something that wasn't great.
Yeah. Man, great answer. I want to ask you, what was the weirdest year for you? And I'm gonna guess that it was the year that you were the softball coach at SIUE.
Yes. If we're talking about baseball only, probably 2015 if you go back and look, that's the worst record in SIU history.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the weirdest year in the sense of it was just a perfect storm of bad things. Like
Yeah.
game one, our leadoff hitter and our 4-hole hitter both got hurt and were out for the year. One broke his arm, got hit by a pitch, and the other one dove and dislocated his shoulder.
Yeah.
In the same weekend, we lost 2 of our best relievers to elbow injuries. Like it just, our most important people got hurt, and we started playing all these freshmen and sophomores that weren't ready.
Right.
And it was just a perfect storm of bad things. And we won 12 games. Like something that most people don't survive, but I think it was just that bad storm.
Yeah.
And then the next year we won 33. It was the best turnaround in the
Yeah, that's
NCAA,
crazy.
like
Yeah.
in Division I. Like, and we knew it. Like we knew we were talented. We knew we had a good team. It just you can't have all those injuries
Right.
and play a tough schedule and it
Yep.
work out. Like it just
Mhm.
doesn't happen.
For sure. Okay. Let's talk about travel ball culture a little bit. I'm not there yet. I see it. I see the pictures. I see all the kids are dripped out. You know that phrase? They got
Yeah.
they got the sleeves, and they got the sliding things, and they got like 20 chains, and they got glasses and knee, shin guards and elbow guards. Do you have any thoughts on this? Is Tanner dripped out?
He's not. And that's part of my this is my impact on him, right?
It's a bit
Like,
much.
you don't need that stuff, man. And it's just a weird thing. It's a very like highlight generation and me generation. So
Yeah.
that's where that all speaks to, right?
Yep.
And they're so worried about everything else other than just playing the game. And
Sure.
even like just the little parts of the game. The dads and moms are really worried about winning games and everything else. And it's just, man, can we get these guys better? And can we get them to enjoy the game by the time they get to the big field
Right.
and want to continue to play the game? And a lot of that gets lost on travel ball, and travel ball has become the only option, and it's a ton of money now.
Yeah.
So
it's like if you're totally left behind if you try to do rec ball now and just play in like a little league. It's like once you're 7 years old and past that, if you're not playing travel ball, it's like, what are you doing? I guess, which is kind of sad, right?
it is. You lose sight of the neighborhood teams and growing up with your buddies and things like that.
Right.
And
There's no more Dairy Queens that are rec ball teams that go to the World Series. That doesn't happen anymore.
No, we've had that conversation quite a bit this summer as my son is 12, and he always asked if how his team would fare against Dairy Queen, and I always have to break it to him. It's like it'd be a 5-inning run rule, but you would learn some things then.
Wait, you guys would have 5-run them?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And they're good. They're a good team. And I just say we had more pitching,
Yep.
And Kevin Bramlett, some of those guys. But then, you look back on that and half that team played college baseball.
Yeah.
And you had a couple guys that played pro baseball.
You and Brewer?
It was just different. And we were fortunate enough to just have a lot of good athletes that could really do some stuff. And I think that it would not have been a good scenario for them.
Does he agree with you, or what has he got?
He loves to, okay, whatever. And
Sure.
then, we have videos of that we haven't watched yet. So someday I'm maybe talk him into to watching those videos.
I have the complete state tournament when we won it, and I digitized it for my parents. We've been talking about setting aside a day sometime to just sit down and watch it. It's one of their favorite memories too, of just like we had a great group of families and people, and just It was special. All right.
Yeah, Terry Parnell and I have that DVD from the Hall of Fame stuff, and we talked
TP.
about getting together to
Hell
watch
yeah.
that. I'm sure that'll happen over the winter time or something.
And shout out to TP. I love that guy too. He's an all-time
Yes.
baseball and good dude. Let's circle back to something funny that you started, a phenomenon on this show.
Okay.
It was I think it was you. Was it you that started the hate for Summer Catch? Because I've talked about it endlessly now, of like every time the worst baseball movie comes up, I have to mention it. Let's circle back to Summer Catch. It's terrible, right?
It's terrible. And it's, having been out there for a year and a half, like, it's nothing like that. Zero. Nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a totally different experience of what's portrayed there. And, I was there right about the same time that the movie came out. So it made it even more like at the forefront of your mind of like, oh, yeah, this is what it might be.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Were you offended by how Freddie Prinze threw a baseball?
A little bit. I think that we should come up with guys that are a little bit more, have a background in baseball. Kind of like some of these football movies where you see the quarterback that can't throw it 5 yards.
Yep.
So,
there's on IMDb, there's like a trivia section to a lot of movies, and you can see interesting parts. And I actually did some research on it. And apparently Freddie Prinze was so terrible at throwing a baseball, they had to be really creative with how they filmed it, because they couldn't actually film the ball leaving his fingers and getting to the catcher, because they would look like 50-mile-an-hour poo. So there was these quick cuts of like he would throw, and then they would split to like someone throwing hard, and it was just a Freddie Prinze. Anyway, all right. Worst baseball movie. That's it forever.
Yes.
What are your favorite baseball smells? What comes to mind?
Oh man, like a new glove is like the greatest thing of all time, especially once you oil it up.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I do like pine tar still. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
One of the things that we don't get to appreciate as much anymore with turf is like the freshly cut grass, especially, playing like an early Saturday morning game or something.
Oh yeah.
Like when you're growing up. But that would be where I would put my stuff.
Oh, love that. We're going to go back to your SIU Carbondale days here. Tell me about, so you and Greg Andrews, I believe you had a record one year. Was it the most double plays in Division I?
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys had an incredible connection there. Can you speak to that? Like, how do you guys develop that? Just anything you want to talk about there.
It's very unique. He and I are very similar backgrounds.
Okay.
Went to Peoria Manual, played basketball. He is one of the most sure-handed infielders I've ever been around. And I'm talking pro baseball. I'm talking guys you've seen on TV. Like, the guy never made an error catching the ball. It was always throwing. And just, we spent a great deal of time working on our craft. And then Ken Henderson's an amazing teacher when it comes to infield play, double plays. I mean, we were top 10 in the country in fielding percentage on grass, like a lot of things like that, right?
Yeah.
And just the overall connection that he and I had, we were just about the same things and into the same things. And this is a very easy relationship that is fun still to this day.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where like we knew where each other were going to be at all times.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of really like plays that probably shouldn't have been made that got made because of the chemistry.
Yeah.
And just certain things that you can always go back on and still think about to this day. Like, we led the league in double plays all 3 years that we were there. We were, that we played together. We led the country one year.
Yeah.
Top 10 in fielding percentage. We own the all-time school record for double plays in a season and in a career. Like there are a lot of things that add up with that group, and he and I were in the middle of it.
That's incredible. I wanted to just get a little highlight on that. And speaking of that group, Sal Frisella is going to be a guest. So he is the teammate of yours, friend of yours, the First Form CEO. You see him. He's big on the social media.
I've helped him out, but he and I have a good relationship. I'm very thankful for him and Greg Andrews, Jake Alley, Corey Newman, a lot of the older guys when I first got to Carbondale, because there was a great deal of growth for me personally, and those guys have a lot to do with that.
Okay.
And I hold our relationship very special. And those guys were great competitors. They're very, very colorful. And not a boring group to be around.
I'm learning that.
So they have changed me in a good way as far as the person that I became.
Shout out to those guys. I'm just starting to get some stuff together for the Sal story. So I'm getting some colorful texts and some conversations with these guys. I'm really looking forward to it. Moving back to your pro career, obviously it got cut short kind of right when you were ascending. Like I remember reading Baseball America, and you were like a top 10 guy in the Tigers organization and being projected to be like a big league reliever type. I imagine you come to peace with it, but is there any part of you that thinks like, man, I could have tasted it, or I could have got farther, or where are you at with that, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any regrets. I'm not sure what I would have been able to do differently. Because I do think that I had a great work ethic and push myself to try to get back.
Yeah.
When people ask me that question, I always think the thing that I wonder the most about is I do think that I would have had an opportunity to get there.
I agree.
The thing that I wonder is if I was good enough to stick.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of guys get opportunities that were technically behind me.
Yeah.
In terms of the pecking order of prospects and how they were moving up the ranks and things like that. So I think I would have gotten a shot. But the thing that I often wonder was I good enough to stick around for a long time?
Yeah.
Because that's what we all want to do, right?
Sure.
So that is more of the question for me, since there isn't much I can do about that now.
Sure. That makes sense to me. And I think that's a healthy perspective to have. And I agree. I think you could have got to the show. Who knows who can stay, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the unknowable. Here's a fun question for you, though. Fill out a lineup 1 through 9, your favorite players of all time.
Man, obviously the Cardinal probably dictated quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with Yachty behind the plate. That's the easiest one for me. I've never seen anybody catch easier than him. Carlton Fisk would be a close second, so that certainly is where I would go. Albert at first, also maybe the greatest right-handed hitter of all time, the most simple approach. Can remember so many of the iconic homers that he hit. Like as a Cardinal fan, that's huge. Second base, probably Robbie Alomar. Always liked him growing up because he could hit from both sides. He could pick it like crazy. There were some other guys, Robbie Cano, things like that could just flat play.
Yeah.
I'm an Ozzie guy.
Yep.
Ozzie Smith is short. That's tough too because I'm a big Cal Ripken guy. So if I had to have a close second, he would be the guy.
My son's middle name is Ripken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate Cal too.
That would be a tough one. Got to see him play in person. Both of those guys have a great deal of respect for them. Third base is tough. I would probably go Mike Schmidt just because of accolades, things like that. But man, I love the way Scott Rowland played. Getting that opportunity to see him just lay it on the line all the time was crazy. Center field, let's go Ken Griffey. Same thing. Just getting to see him do what he did was insane. Let's go outfield Al Kaline. Both because I have an affinity for the Tigers. I got to know him a little bit when I was playing because he played with my great uncle who played in the big leagues. Right. So there was a little background and history there. That part was really neat. If we're going left field, let's just go Barry Bonds, as much as that pains me to say that, but it's hard to not have what
greatest hitter of all time.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm with it, man. If you weren't oh wait, we got to throw. Let's throw a starting pitcher in there and a closer. What?
Mariano Rivera, hands down, greatest pitcher of all time. There is no debate. I would go Greg Maddux. I'm a Maddux fan. What he was able to do, how he transformed the game, just how he competes. That was somebody I always kind of wanted to be like, and I just think what he did was crazy.
Two really interesting choices too, because obviously Maddux was an outlier and dominated the game by movement and precision and whatnot, and then Mariano Rivera just had one pitch, just a buzzsaw cutter that no one could hit. I've always been baffled by that someone can have one pitch. I think every once in a while he would throw a four seam or drop a deuce on you, but it would be very, very rarely. But It was
Yeah.
here's my best pitch. You cannot hit it. Tough. That's it.
And be the greatest ever at something with something as simple as one pitch is
Right.
crazy.
I think I remember reading that Roy Halladay actually like had Mariano Rivera put his fingers on the ball, how he threw his cutter, and like drew around it. So he had that ball as reference because he wanted to know how to throw it too. So
Yeah.
interesting.
Wild.
What would you be doing if you weren't coaching?
Man, that's a great question. Probably be teaching somehow, some way. If I wasn't doing that, I'd probably find a way to be out from behind a desk. I'm not a big desk guy, and probably interacting with people some way.
Yeah.
So maybe sales. I started out in IT with the school district, was doing some things there before I moved into coaching.
Yeah.
So that's where I was headed before I got into coaching.
Okay. I could see that. This is a weird question, but so I'm 40. Are you 42?
Yep, about to be 43.
About to be 43. I tell you, man, it's weird watching my athleticism slip away as I get older, right? Like I used to be known to speed was my number one tool. I could fly. But even now, sometimes when I'm racing around with my little daughter, I'm like, man, I just don't got it anymore. Like I don't got these jets anymore that I used to have. Is it weird at all for you watching some of these tools and like athleticism slip away at all as you get older?
Definitely.
Right?
And it's hard.
Yeah.
I joke around all the time. Like I love to play pickup basketball, and I've been careful as to not here recently because I'm really afraid of like tearing my Achilles.
Yes.
And
Yep.
it's like, man, like
You got to consider
have I
that now.
gotten this soft, and is my body like broken down that much that I can't do this? It's wild.
I know. I've totally turned down playing like pickup basketball and things like that just because I've already had like 6 surgeries, man. Like I don't want to have
Yeah.
another one. I don't want to tear my Achilles or blow out my ACL just farting around playing basketball with people. So it's weird getting old, man. Let me ask you this. If you could tell 12-year-old PJ that this is where you'd be at in life, that you had played Division I baseball, that you had played pro ball, that you're now a Division I coach, you think you'd be a pretty happy kid?
Yeah, I'd probably be a little surprised. As weird as that sounds, like I didn't ever have like these huge dreams as far as playing Division I baseball,
Yeah.
playing in the major leagues, or anything like that. It was just more of like I just love sports. I love the games.
Competing.
I love competing.
Yeah, you said that.
So I don't know that I had like a vision of this is what it's going to be, but I certainly probably would tell that guy like you're going to enjoy it. I've very
Yeah.
much enjoyed my life in baseball, and it's not always been easy, but it also doesn't ever feel like work.
I like that. And I remember you said something profound in the first one. It was like, just get lost in the competition and quit. Don't worry about what's next or who you're getting recruited by. Get lost in the competition and things will work out. And I thought that was just like a really cool thing that you said. I only got a couple more, man. We're at the end here. I wanted to, I wish I had more questions for you. I know you got stuff to do, but man, I just love talking baseball with you. Do you still consider yourself a baseball player?
For sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that defines who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not defined as a baseball player, but I see myself as one. Just a lot of life experiences and a lot of what I do on a day-to-day basis has to do with baseball.
Yeah.
So I still consider myself a baseball player. Yes.
Absolutely. You always will be. Last question then. What are you most proud of looking back on your career? Let's go player and then coach.
Man, I think as a player is just the impact you can have on winning. Like you keep going back to is I love competing.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was right in the middle of winning means something to me, but also being a good teammate. Like guys that, I genuinely cared about my teammates, and the whole team would do a lot of things to help other people out and wanted to bring other people together.
Yeah.
And I think that the guys there, the teams that I was on, guys would speak to that. Like I was always trying to bring people together.
Yeah.
Because I think that's when special things happen. And I think as a coach, the thing I'm most proud of is like I can impact their lives.
Yeah.
And they understand that it's in a bunch of different ways. And I'm proud of that because I still talk to a great deal of former players.
Yeah.
And a lot of those talks have nothing to do with baseball. And I know that I've made an impact on them. I've made their lives better. I've made their college experience better. I've helped them grow as a person. And I'm really proud of that because,
Yes.
we're all trying to win, right?
Sure.
That's what every coach is trying to do. But there is more than winning sometimes.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
when you can follow up with guys and find out they're married and they have kids and they're starting their journey as a dad and things like that is pretty neat.
Oh man, I love that. Well, PJ, we're at the end here, man. I got no more questions for you. We made it about 2.5 hours. I'm gonna be honest. I think part 3.5 went better than part 3. Maybe we gotta.
No, it's always easy, man. You do a great job. It's amazing to see where this thing is taking
Been
you.
fun.
And I know that all of us are appreciative of your time and effort and the outreach that this thing has.
Hey, man, the appreciation goes both ways. I wouldn't be in the position that I was in if it weren't for guys like you that gave me some time, that took a chance to, hey, let's talk about my baseball story. Kind of a weird concept. Not a lot of people are doing deep dives like this. So thank you for being a part of this. It wouldn't be what it is without you. I'm glad that we're boys now. I hope we can keep this up. Maybe in another year we could do another check-in and whatnot, because you are such a baseball guy, a baseball odyssey. Thank you for everyone that participated in this. This was incredible. I wanted to get another look at your kind of coaching career. I got nothing else for you, buddy. This has been so incredible. You got anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nothing. Very appreciative, like I said, of your time. All the guys that you asked questions.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you got some good stories that you can laugh about and other people can enjoy too.
Absolutely. Looking forward to coming down this spring and watching you guys play. I'm gonna come down with Dad, and then also, I would love to sometimes set up a foursome with our dads and play some golf, swing it a little bit, have some fun.
That would be awesome.
And
that
then
would be
lastly,
great. Yes.
I am having some post-game spread shirts made. What size do you want, my man? I'm gonna send you one.
Extra large, man. And
XL?
I have a care package that I need to send your way. That's got
really?
a nice Lindenwood baseball game hat and
let's go.
supporting some of our new logos that we have.
That looks terrific. All right, man. I look forward to that. Repping Lindenwood now too. We're gonna have Stacy Callahan take us out here, and then we're gonna get on out of here. PJ, this has been so incredible. Thank you, brother. This was awesome. Here we go.
Thank you.
Stacy Callahan.
I'm doing a PJ. I'm having him back on for a part 3 because I want to talk about his coaching career. And I'm talking to some of his players and some guys, and I thought it would be fun to kind of end it maybe with you. Obviously, you are the closest that we can get to Dan. And what I kind of would just like maybe some thoughts on, PJ obviously wears number 37, for Dan, has spoken deeply about how much he meant to him as a coach, as a friend, as a mentor, father figure, all these things. My question kind of is, do you think Dan's legacy lives on through PJ in ways? And then secondly, do you think Dan would be proud of PJ?
Okay. I just think it meant so much to Dan that he not only got to coach PJ, but later coach with him.
Yeah.
The relationship was something truly special, player and coach, mentor, mentee, and above all, I believe they were friends. And seeing PJ wear Dan's number and carrying himself with the same integrity and heart is incredibly moving. And in many ways, Dan's legacy absolutely lives through PJ, and Dan would be so proud of PJ right now.
Perfect.
All right, guys, post-game spread. We are out of here.